bill will spark an economic boom. Democrats say it'll strip health care and other Medicaid assistance from millions. President Trump holding a call with Russia's President Putin. A Kremlin aide says Putin told him he's still interested in a negotiated settlement to the conflict with Ukraine, but that Russia will not step back from its goals. The U.S. Supreme Court agrees to hear cases involving transgender athletes in school sports.
These are cases including one out of West Virginia, the ACLU representing the transgender girl Becky Pepper Jackson, who wants to compete on her high school track team. She and her parents say that the girl has an equal protection right to compete on teams matching her gender. Now, the states and Trump administration says it's an issue about competitive fairness in women and girls. More than 24 states have such laws, like West Virginia's.
Fox's David Spahn. Justices say they'll review lower court rulings in favor of transgender athletes in West Virginia and Idaho. Wall Street kicks off a long weekend with an early close. The Dow up 344 points at the bell, rallying on a stronger than expected jobs report for June. 147,000 jobs created. The unemployment rate ticking down to 4.1%. America is listening to Fox News.
Do you have 3 ex-wives and your current trophy wife wants a life insurance policy 3 times the size of the policies you had to purchase for your previous mistakes? If so, you need to call Big Lou at Term Provider, 800-777-1225. Big Lou is intimately familiar with your problems, and if you're 50 or 60 years old and in reasonably good health, a $1 million policy should only cost about $100 to $200 per month. Big Lou may have a solution for your previous policies as well. You may even save enough money to lighten the load on your new $1 million policy. Remember, call Big Lou. He's like you, except he's only on number 2. Call Term Provider at 800-777-1225. That's 800-777-1225. For $1 million in term life insurance that you can live with. Call Big Lou at 800-777-1225. 800-777-1225.
Air Comfort Service, heating, cooling, and insulation. Weather.
Chief Meteorologist Dave Murray.
Thursday afternoon, lots of sunshine. Temperatures also up a couple of degrees. 93, certainly nothing extreme. Tonight, clear skies, 74 for the overnight low. Friday, 4th of July, sunny, hot, and humid. Maybe a pop thunderstorm in the afternoon, but tough to find. 95 degrees. Weather looks good. It's warm and humid for all the activities on Friday night. This is 97.1 FM Talk. Chief Meteorologist Dave Murray.
You're listening to the Annie Fry Show live, sponsored by Air Comfort Service Heating, Cooling, and Insulation. If you need a new air conditioner installed this summer, call a company you can trust to install your AC properly. That will get your home cool and comfortable fast. For a free estimate on a new air conditioner, visit aircomfortservice.com.
That is exactly what I needed to hear.
Thank God someone here knows what they're talking about.
That's us. That's right. Gotta love this American ride.
All right, you need to take the time and get the full picture.
Come on, turn the radio on. It's Saturday and I won't be long.
Don't get me wrong, I love the ladies. I mean, they rev my engine, but they don't belong in the newsroom. It is Anchor Man, not Anchor Lady.
What do you want from me? I'm not America's sweetheart.
Goodness sake, kid, keep your voice down. Your father's listening to the radio.
I'm not America's sweetheart.
This is the Annie Fry Show.
We cannot allow perfection to stand in place of a great bill. This bill will provide the largest tax cut in U.S. history, the largest spending cuts in U.S. history, the largest one-time investment in the border, creating the Golden Dome for national security. These are all things that the president campaigned on. No tax on tips, no tax on overtime, tax relief for seniors. Our colleagues will come to the table and they will find out the right vote is a yes vote. Failure is not an option. I guarantee you this will be on the president's desk by July 4th.
I guarantee you, says Jason Smith. And Hakeem Jeffries like, well, I would like a minute. Let's go to Hakeem Jeffries right now, who is on the House floor, and he's doing his very best. Let's listen in.
I'm not questioning anybody's faith.
This is live,
I'm just
right?
making a
Brad?
observation.
Yeah. Observation.
Got some folks in this town, they go to church and they pray on Sunday. P-R-A-Y.
Ooh, we're spelling. Got to fill the time.
and then they come to Congress and pray, P-R-E-Y, on the American people. I'm not down with that kind of faith.
How do we happen to get that soundbite?
Oh, man, he's bringing the heat in hour 7 or something like that. I don't know.
What time do you start?
7:30 maybe. I don't know.
He's on hour 8. He's actually over 8
They
hours.
said if he gets to 1:30, which I presume is Eastern time, that he will break the prior vote on record on longest magic minute speech. The Congress calls this the magic minute.
He is desperate to show that he is resisting because people don't, even on the left, I don't really see a lot of people who like him.
So let's catch everybody up here. So yesterday, the House, we talked with Congressman LaHood, and I asked him if it was going to get, if the big, beautiful bill was going to get passed through the House and be able to be signed by President Trump on July 4th. And he basically didn't say no. And he made it seem like it was a possibility. So you're saying there's a chance. So last night, the way this all goes is you have to vote on the rule, which means essentially you're voting to vote. You're saying, I vote yes that we would like to vote on this bill, which does make sense if you're trying to assemble 435 people representing the entire country to come together to vote. You would probably want to make sure that everybody was prepared to vote on the issue. So you have to vote on the rule in order to enter the opportunity to vote yes or no, yay or nay, on the actual bill. The vote on the actual bill has not happened yet. After a lot of hemming and hawing last night, of which I stayed awake for like a doofus, watching, paying attention to what happened, wanting to see what developed, to the point where it got to the point where I was watching reruns of Jesse Waters and Sean Hannity, and they would break in with news if it happened. Oh, gosh. How do I do this? I struggle watching one of those.
But you were watching for the breaking news.
And I try not to miss the other. So, moving on. Yeah, I was watching for the breaking news because just as Elon Musk has highlighted many times, people go to X for their news. So I'm on X, but I was also getting some work done at home, doing some crafting, I'll just say it that way, at home, and while this is all going on. So I can't sit and just watch and scroll on X. I have the news on so that if something happens, then I can go, okay, let me see what the actual latest is on X. And probably around late in the 1 p.m. hour, early in the 2 a.m. hour, Johnson's got the votes. I'm like, sweet. I want to see this. I fell asleep. I'm so mad. I stayed up and I didn't get to see that stuff culminate, but they finally got to the point where there were 8 people who hadn't voted. So they had 215 no's on the rule, not on the actual vote. And it went back and forth between like 207 and 208 yays because Thomas Massey voted in favor, yay, on the rule to say, yeah, let's get to the vote. It was about 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock last night where he's like, never mind, I changed my vote. So as long as the vote is open, as long as the speaker hasn't come in and closed the vote, people can hold off on voting. People can discuss, debate. I think it's a really cool process because nobody is forced to do anything. And you're not going to trip up and say, no, you've got me down for a no. I thought I said yes. You can change your vote. Once you voted, until the vote is closed, you can hold off on voting. You can go run up and vote and then be in, hours of conversation? And then go, I think I changed my vote. They've changed my mind. And then you can go back and change your vote. So until the vote is closed, you don't know what's happening. Massey changed his vote. And his comment to Fox News last night was that the American people don't know the difference between the rule and the vote. My interpretation of that was he voted in favor of getting on with it. But there are people who are confusing his vote in favor of the rule as a vote for the big, beautiful bill. And at that point, there were 8 people who hadn't been convinced to vote yes for it. So I think he wanted to not be confusing people because at that point, his vote didn't matter. So eventually, the persuasion sets in. They're able to get past this rule. And then once that happens, you get to hand the minority party a magic minute that is kind of like the biblical minute, like the biblical day. You have to go back to the original text in order to find out, does day mean 24 hours or like a millennium? We don't know. Well, for Democrats, it means at least more than 60 seconds. So we're monitoring it. Let's listen in here. Put him back up there and see what it is he's having to say here.
Law-abiding immigrant families, small business owners.
I wish you
all
would.
of the things that we've spent some time on this House floor talking about.
Ryan, I wish you'd support me like they're supporting him when he's talking.
That this bill is trying to destroy.
That's right.
I'll do it the rest of this segment.
I
want to listen to him first.
I'm going to make some
find anything
ridiculous statements
in the Bible and the New Testament, certainly not in Matthew 25 and 35. Matthew 25, the 35th chapter, and all the way through the 40th verse, but somehow I happened upon John 10 and 10. And thinking about this one big ugly bill.
Rubio sip of water, sponsored by
The thief
Aquafina.
comes only to steal, kill, and destroy.
This is in the Bible where Jesus was talking about Republicans.
But America is a resilient nation.
That's right.
We're an exceptional nation. We're a strong nation. We've been through turbulence, trials, and tribulations. And we always somehow have found a way to make it through. Because of the resilience, Mr. Speaker, of the American people. So whatever happens today as it relates to this one big ugly bill, if my Republican colleagues decide that once again, Mr. Speaker, you're simply going to make the decision to serve as a reckless rubber stamp of President Trump's extreme agenda,
I wish they'd start singing.
I still have faith in the United States of America.
There you go. That's kind of a positive message there.
Still have faith in the United States of America.
From the minority. That's honestly been the MO of the Republican Party for the last 4 years. Like, as bad as it gets, I still have faith in the American people.
That's good.
Hakeem Jeffries, man. He's my guy.
I was waiting for him to start quoting Bible verses about debt and how bad it is. He didn't quite get there.
We'll get to the debt ceiling part. In Matthew 73.
Proverbs 22:7. The rich rule over the poor, and the borrower is the slave to the lender.
Flee the hand of the debtor.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, man.
He's still going.
That's
Good
right,
for-
Annie.
I know that. Thank you. Yeah, I'm going to pause to have a discussion with you each time. I don't know how to do this.
You're killing it. Keep going.
If that were a Republican congressman doing this, I wouldn't be mad at it. You're delaying the inevitable. You have nothing else to do. You have no other power.
No, yeah. I mean, I don't know that anybody cares that this is happening. Other than the people in the room who are like, all right, we got to do some business. When's it going to be done?
Well, also, it is the 4th of July tomorrow,
Yeah.
Independence Day. A lot of people looking forward to probably a holiday weekend. And there have to be Democrats who are like, come on.
Oh, yeah,
They're not
definitely.
going to say it out loud, but
Yeah.
like, I would like to leave here.
This is
and a cooler full of soda out there waiting for me.
Yeah, I'm sure it's soda.
Conclusion.
Yeah, I just, I will check myself. I'm not going to make fun of him. I think that it's actually a pretty impressive task that he's been standing for what's going to be like 8 hours plus doing this. And this is what you got to do. Use it wisely. If you're trying to generate some clips and some social media to tell the people what the alternative is, this is a chance to do that. But anyway, by the time you're done, we're going to pass this big, beautiful bill. And Donald Trump's going to have it on his desk on July 4th. That's at least what we are told, that the Republicans do have the votes. Let's take a quick break. Hans von Spakovsky is going to be with us next. Excited to talk to him. We do have Congressman Mike Bost at 1 o'clock. It's possible they could be voting then. So maybe we'll be flexible with him. Maybe he won't be able to make it with us. But we are scheduled to talk with a member of the House of Representatives at 1 o'clock. Don't go away.
You're listening to The Annie Fry Show. Follow Annie on X at Annie Fry Show.
When it's falling, 'cause it brings a grain and a little bit of money. We put it back in a plate. I guess that's why they call it God's country.
When you have Rhino Shield on your house, it does a couple of things for you. It beautifies the house, and it protects it from the harshest elements. And boy, do we see those here in the greater St. Louis area. You get instant curb appeal. It will stick to anything. Rhino Shield is the answer, no matter whether you're painting a home or a church or a business or a condo, because it's 100% waterproof. It takes care of the outdoor maintenance on whatever is on the outside of your home. The brick, the block, aluminum, steel, stucco. They can put this on with the 2 to 3 coat process. They're there about a week, and they do a great job. A lot of businesses have done it in the area. Several Firestones have done that. Vantage Credit Union over the years. Harlan Packaging down in DeSoto. Call Darren today and schedule your free estimate. 877-25-RHINO. Easy to remember phone number. Or go online today at 877-25RHINO.com.
Are you looking for an easy way to get a daily detox? Active Liver is the easy way to get a daily detox to keep you healthy and feeling your best. You can find Active Liver in the vitamin aisle at your local CVS or online at Amazon or NewNordicUSA.com.
Well, if you ask me where I come from,
This is The Annie Fry
here's
Show.
what I tell everyone.
Find the podcast, on-demand audio, and more at 971talk.com/Annie.
In an extraordinary place where the stars and stripes and the eagle fly
will be to the American people.
This is Hakeem Jeffries still talking live on the House floor in his magic minutes. We're going to add an S to that because it's been going for a while. And I don't know how long it'll continue to. I think he wants to break a record. I guess you get like a plaque if you do that. But the big, beautiful bill is on its way to passing in the House of Representatives if Mike Johnson aptly does have the votes that he says he does. Let's get to our guest. Excited to have Hans von Spakovsky back with us today, the Senior Legal Fellow for the Heritage Foundation, former FEC Commissioner. Hans, welcome back. Good to have you here.
Well, it's nice to be talking with you again. And, you know, speaking of Speaker Johnson, I don't know if you saw the very funny story about several Democratic members of Congress who happen to be doctors who tried to hold a press conference wearing their white medical coats in front of Speaker Johnson's office, and the reporters couldn't hear them because of the horde of tourists going through the hall.
Oops. That's how in the Midwest we say, oop. Hans, I want to get your thoughts on just observing the constitutional process right now taking place with the House of Representatives going back and forth. I mean, like, how does a bill become a law? This is very interesting stuff for people to learn how this process goes. It's been quite entertaining to see the lengths with which each party has gone to try to do something, to affect something. What do you think so far?
Well, it's really interesting. Remember, this appropriations bill started in the House, and that's because constitutionally all appropriations bills have to start in the House. Once it passed the House, it went over to the Senate. Because the Senate changed the House version, the new Senate version had to go back to the House. Now, if the House approves the new Senate version, well, then it's ready for the president's signature. If the House makes further changes in the Senate version, it has to go back to the Senate. And it's basically like ping pong until both houses have voted for exactly the same version of the bill.
So, Hans, I was messaging back and forth a little bit last night with a congressman, and I was like, you can change the bill. The House can change the bill if they want and send it back to the Senate. And his response was yes, but then it has to go into committee. So there are procedural things that have to happen that slow the process down for that July 4th deadline. Right. How important constitutionally is the July 4th deadline?
Well, I don't know. I think it's kind of more symbolic. What the congressman was talking about, by the way, is that although it's not required in the Constitution, often what happens when the Senate and the House vote on what is essentially the same bill, except there are slight differences between the two, is usually what happens is the House and the Senate appoint members of a committee. It's a joint committee, members of the House, members of the Senate, and they try to work out the differences between the two houses and come up with one version that both sides agree on. So that's what the congressman was talking about there. The key thing in all of this, remember, is that because this is a reconciliation bill having to do with the budget, it passes on a simple majority vote, and it cannot be filibustered. This kind of bill can't be filibustered in the Senate. That is a crucial factor because, as you know, it barely passed in the Senate, and if they had to get 60 votes to overcome a filibuster, there's no way it would ever pass the Senate.
Right. Hans von Spakovsky with us, a legal expert, constitutional expert. It's great to have you here on this day where we're watching Congress in action. I do want to shift over to a different co-equal branch of government in the judicial branch, because last week we had some really big rulings from the Supreme Court. I've got a specific one that I want to talk to you about, and that's that Maryland case with the classroom and the subject matter that kids were that parents were told, you can't opt out. It's too burdensome for the school, for all of these people to opt out from this sexually charged language and literature curriculum that was being put in front of these kids. How that doesn't just apply to when the Supreme Court rules on it. That doesn't just apply to Maryland, correct? That's a nationwide ruling.
Yeah, it sets the standard, and it's important for people to understand that it wasn't parents trying to opt their kids out of a sex education class, the kind you see in high schools. The school board had infused this sexually explicit material into almost the entire curriculum. And we weren't talking about high school kids. They started in the pre-kindergarten stage.
It's outrageous.
So this is, it is
terrible.
Outrageous. And by the way, since we're talking about the kind of transgender and homosexual material they were putting in, the Supreme Court just today accepted an appeal. They accepted an appeal. They're going to hear it in the fall of challenges to laws of two different states that say that biological males cannot compete in women's athletics. That is a very big deal, and that's going to be a case just as important in the next term of the Supreme Court.
Hans von Spakovsky with us right now. So the question before the court, will they be ruling whether or not non-biological males can participate in whatever their gender identity sport is?
What they're going to be the challengers saying who went up against these state laws said these violate the Civil Rights Act. They discriminate on the basis of sex. So what the Supreme Court is going to be looking at is whether or not saying that you have to participate in the sport that you're biologically born in, whether that violates the Civil Rights Act. I think the folks challenging this law are going to lose. I just don't see how in the world the Supreme Court could rule any other way. I mean, we know how the three liberals will rule.
Sure.
The same way they ruled in that case last week. I mean, I couldn't believe it.
Look,
It was a 6-3 decision.
Yeah. Ketanji Brown Jackson, just from where you go to read the caddy remarks after the fact, X, I was reading people who are smarter than me legally, and that's most people, reacting to Ketanji Brown Jackson's dissent and the way she positioned herself, the way she has handled herself during these hearings. Do you have thoughts on her ability to do the job of a Supreme Court justice?
Yeah, I have grave doubts about it. I actually think her dissents and her handling of these cases shows that someone who really was not qualified to be on the court was confirmed to the court. And it's clear that the other justices are tired of her and her emotional ravings. And you can see that in the fact that in the birthright citizenship case decision last week, that was also a 6-3 decision. But her dissent, she wrote a separate dissent. The other two liberal justices, they didn't join her dissent. That's significant. That Kagan and Sotomayor did not feel comfortable signing on to her dissent, which, like I said, was just an emotional raving with no legal analysis in it. And everybody's been talking about the fact that the majority opinion written by Amy Coney Barrett really was a scathing takedown of Jackson. But listen, the other 5 conservative justices all signed on to it. So you have 6 justices very critical of Jackson, and you have the other 2 liberals not willing to sign on to her dissent. That tells you quite a bit about how she is viewed in the court.
Hans, just I don't know if you know the answer to this, but I'm just trying to peek behind the curtain, and maybe you have a little insight. Do the Supreme Court justices golf together? Do they go to the bar after a tough day at work and talk about their do they socialize together?
I don't know if they still do. Justice Scalia and Ruth Bader Ginsburg were well known for the fact that both of them really liked opera, and they used to go to the opera together all the time. So they certainly socialized with each other. How that's happening or what's going on now, I don't know, because I mean, some of the dissents written by particularly Sotomayor also, I mean, she is using, I mean, I would describe the dissents as emotional tirades from some of them. So I don't know how easy it is to socialize with somebody that criticizes you in that way.
Yeah. I'm just imagining going to see the new Jurassic World movie and you're like, hey, there's a third of the Supreme Court sharing popcorn. Hans, real quick, I want to dip back to that Maryland case here because I have a question I've been meaning to ask any legal expert, and I wanted to save it for you. What was ruled, my understanding is that the school can't force these parents to send their kids to consume this, and a lot of it had to do with maybe religious freedom because there were Muslim families involved, Christian families involved. Was it a religious, was that part of the ruling here?
Yeah, the court did rule that this violated these people's sincerely held religious beliefs. But I frankly think that if some parents had come forward who were, not religious, objecting to this, I don't think it would have made any difference to the court's decision.
Well, Hans, here's my question for you. And I don't know anyone who's talking about this, but it's been brought to my attention elsewhere. Is there any consideration for the public school educators who are being forced to educate on this material? Do they have a legal right to opt out of educating something that goes against their religious beliefs?
Yes, there have been court cases about that, and you don't lose your religious freedom rights just because you are a teacher. And I think you as a public school teacher have a right to opt out of teaching things that would violate your religious beliefs.
Certainly in a lot of these different areas where DEI and critical race theory have really seeped in, it's not like you go to your critical race theory class. The point of CRT was to seep into everything. So it's inseparable. So you might have a math teacher who's trying to teach algebra, and all of a sudden there's some sort of like word problem that now has to incorporate some sort of CRT. Is it your understanding that the math teacher would be able to say, I'm not teaching that?
Yeah, they probably would end up in litigation, but under the Constitution, I do think they have a right. You know what I would tell that math teacher? Wait till the next school board seat opens up and run for the school board, get elected, and change it from the top.
All right, there you go. There's the advice from Hans von Spakovsky. You are the expert. We're glad you're here with us today. Thank you for being with us, and happy Independence Day.
Sure. Same to you. Thanks for having me.
Take care. Bye-bye. All right, let's listen. Is he still talking? Yeah. Woo! Hakeem Jeffries.
And you will have an opportunity to end this national nightmare as part of Project.
YouTube's like, I'm tired.
No, thanks.
I'm just done
We've
with
been done to do this for a while.
All right, let's take a quick break here. We'll wrap up a little bit of discussion regarding the big, beautiful bill. We'll reset where it is right now and what's going to happen next. Congressman Mike Bost. Brad, why don't you, in this very, very quick break, folks, do you like the quick breaks? Text with the Bost people and make sure that we're still on schedule with them, and we'll let you know, because he's supposed to be with us at 1 o'clock. I want Mike Bost to just like slowly walk in front, real close to the camera.
And just wave.
And just be like, we're good. 1 o'clock. Hakeem Jeffries won't care. He probably can't even see straight right now. He's been talking for 8 hours. Keep it here on The Annie Fry Show. We'll be right back.
This is The Annie Fry Show. Follow Annie on X at Annie Fry Show.
Home Shield Foundation Repair. These folks, this is a family-owned and operated business created by a guy, Matt, who knew very much so how to do this specific job. I'm talking about coming to your home or your business, and that uneven concrete that's causing problems all the time. If it's your business, it's definitely a trip hazard. That's not good. You need to level it out before something bad happens. You can call Matt and his great team, this very close-knit team at Home Shield Foundation Repair. They'll come out to your house and they'll look at your situation and tell you what it is. Like, maybe you need something bigger than concrete leveling. Maybe you need to take it all out, but you probably don't. And when you work with Home Shield Foundation Repair, this is the most cost-effective way to solve the problem for good. 314-227-9636. 314-227-9636. Home Shield Foundation Repair can help level your driveways, sidewalks, walkways, your garage floors. This Independence Day, you're probably thinking about your patio or your pool deck. They can help level that out as well. There is a solution that is cost-effective for you at a family-owned and operated business with the very best of the best people at Home Shield Foundation Repair. You're going to call him and you're going to tell him I sent you. So make sure you drop Annie in there when you give him a call. 314-227-9636. 314-227-9636. HomeshieldFoundationRepairs.com.
Get this, 42% of baby boomers don't even know how much money they have in their nest egg. If you're not sure where you stand in terms of getting ready for retirement, you should be listening to the All Financial Hour with Steve All.
Let's sit down and talk about your questions, because I think that's the most important thing that it is out there. It's what questions do you have?
Tune in to the All Financial Hour with Steve All, Saturday mornings at 6, right here on 97.1 FM Talk.
97.1 FM Talk is proud to support the first ever Brendan Donovan Charity Clay Shoot happening Thursday, August 7th at Strathelman Farms Club in Weldon Spring. Join Cardinals standout Brendan Donovan, teammates, and local celebs for a day of clay shooting and community, all to benefit Team Red, White, and Blue and their mission to support veterans' health and wellness. Don't wait. Sponsorships and shooter spots are going fast. Visit teamrwb.org/Donovan now to sign up. Show your support and make a difference for those who've served. 97.1 FM Talk, backing our veterans every step of the way.
I don't know that we've asked you the YouTube live chat poll yet, on the air anyway. Who wins the 2026 midterms? Number of options here, of course, but let us know who you think is going to win the midterms. Maybe it's affected by what's going on right now. Maybe it's not. Let us know in the comments. YouTube live chat poll. Let us know what you think. 12:35. This time check is sponsored by Jerry Kelly Heating and Air Conditioning.
It's time for a $98 AC tune-up.
This is the Annie Fry Show. Interact with Annie on Facebook. The Annie Fry Show.
The podium for more than an hour trying to discredit this bill right now.
Well, Maria, I'm not going to take firefighting advice from an arsonist. The Democrats had the majorities. They blew out the budget. They had the tons of wasteful spending, and we inherited a mess. And under President Trump's leadership, along with Speaker Johnson, Leader Thune, we are going to get the economy humming again via the private sector. This is a Main Street Working America bill. It is going to address the affordability crisis. We are going to increase working people's wages. And, you know, the Democratic Party at present doesn't stand for anything. They're just against everything. And you know, let's see where the economy is this time next year. Yeah. I think this bill, over the next year, we are going to see growth like we have not seen. And importantly, it is going to be non-inflationary growth, which is something that Democrats couldn't do.
Scott Bessent, the U.S. Treasury Secretary, they just said that he'd been speaking for a little over an hour, and the timestamp on there is 7:03 a.m. Eastern. So it sounds to me like he started talking at about 7 a.m. this morning, which I think is what I remember them saying last night. He has officially broken the Magic Minute floor speech record. Prior to this moment in time, it was Kevin McCarthy that held that Magic Minute speech record. Huge accomplishment. Ryan, tell us about that speech that Kevin McCarthy gave.
It was one for the ages. These are speeches that everybody remembers years later. And McCarthy's was definitely one of those. Now, let me transition real quick to talk about Hakeem Jeffries.
Brad, that speech that Kevin McCarthy gave, the Magic Minute record-holding speech.
Yeah, he broke the record. I remember that, and then he was like super passionate about what he was talking about, and he gave
It was long.
Yeah, it was long, and he made very poignant points.
He's done. Turn him on.
He's done.
Turn him on. He broke the record.
We're going to press on.
Oh, wait, maybe he's not done.
We're a little bit behind.
They're kissing him and laying hands on him and clapping in unison for him.
We're going to press on for our children, press on for our seniors, press on for our veterans, press on for our unions, press on for our farmers, press on for our dreamers, press on for working class Americans, press on for the middle class, press on for all who aspire to be part of the middle class, press on for the poor, press on for the sick, press on for the afflicted, press on for the least, press on for the lost, press on for the left behind, press on for the rule of law, press on for the American way of life, press on for democracy. We're going to press on until victory is won.
Ron says, press off.
I yield back.
Okay, so he's done. He broke the record. Bully for him. I think the point we're making with the Kevin McCarthy thing is we don't know what he was talking about. I probably am in favor of the things he talked about. Probably.
Would you say?
I don't know what it was.
Would you say, now that the speech is over, would you say that speech is the defining moment of the Trump presidency?
Somebody said that. The Democrats won't stand for anything. Of course they will. He just stood for 8 hours for himself.
He's in the record books.
Yeah.
So
his name.
Yeah.
And the big beautiful bill, one step closer to passing. While he was going through his press-ons, remember when Mike Johnson actually took the speakership? No. It was when Kevin McCarthy got the speakership the first time. After all, it was like 18 different votes or whatever. And as per the usual here, Jason Smith's going to speak. Let's cue into that. Hakeem Jeffries gets the opportunity to speak before the new speaker gets to speak as the minority leader. It took me halfway through the alphabet to realize he was going through the alphabet.
Oh, yeah. That's
Do you remember
right.
that?
That was tough.
He was going, press on, and I was like, ooh, what letter did that start with? I'm like, are we doing this again? I need to know. Missouri Congressman Jason
Listening
Smith.
to a lot of words, a lot of comments, a lot of inaccurate statements. And where I come from.
Press on.
Could we have order?
Gentlemen, the House will be in order. The House will be in order. The House will be in order, please.
This is happening right now, folks.
The House will be in order. Thank you. Gentleman from Missouri is recognized.
Mr. Speaker, I come from the Show Me State. And what we just heard can be defined in one word. A bunch of hogwash is what we've heard for 8 hours on that side of the building.
I think hogwash was the one word.
I'll tell you, for the 8 hours,
I'm from
Mr.
Illinois, so.
Could we have order?
We're unsure.
Yeah. We'll suspend. The House will be in order. Thank you. He's recognized.
Mr. Speaker, the 8 hours of hogwash that we just heard will not change the outcome that you will see very shortly when we deliver historic tax relief for working families, small business owners, and farmers. Mr. What?
He's got a man to his bottom left who's pointing
Mr.
at something
Speaker,
specifically
I
in
yield
his speech.
1 minute to our great Speaker of the House, Mr. Mike Johnson.
All right. Hey-o.
That wasn't us. That was the House.
I heard that and I was like, wait, was that Ryan? No.
I thank the gentleman from Missouri. I thank you, Mr. Speaker.
That's a big binder. Is that the bill?
You know, Ronald Reagan said one time that no speech should be longer than 20 minutes, and unlike the Democrat leader, I'm going to honor my colleague's time and be a little more brief than that, all right? I just want to say something that many of us learned when we were children. We were taught, you know, it takes a lot longer to build a lie than to tell the simple truth.
That hey-o in the background is Steve Scalise. He's having a lot of fun. He's probably sleep drunk. He's pumped.
Some fist bumps going on, too.
And Tom Emmer is sitting next to him. You know what? They should just stand and clap for 8 hours.
My friends and colleagues on both sides of the aisle, we've waited long enough. Some of us have literally been up for days now. But this day is a hugely important one in the history of our nation. We have a big job to finish, and that's why we're here on the week of July 4th, just a day before now, America's birthday. It was on that fateful day, as a Democrat leader acknowledged, that our founders pledged their lives and their sacred honor to this grand experiment in self-governance that we are now here to steward. It's an experiment that falls to us to guard and to protect it. We take that very seriously on this side of the aisle. In just a few moments, we will remind the world why the American experiment still endures today and why its best days are still ahead of us. Yeah. Mr. Speaker, with one big, beautiful bill, we are going to make this country stronger, safer, and more prosperous than ever before. And every American is going to benefit from that. Yeah. Today, we are laying a key cornerstone of America's new golden age. Now listen, we have a few words of gratitude first. Scripture's been cited a lot this morning, I think mostly out of context, but what I will say, one thing that we know about Scripture is that we're supposed to give honor where honor is due, and that's what we do on this side of the aisle. I want to thank every single member of the House Republican Conference for their pouring their time and their heart and their expertise and experience into this process. I want to thank all of our amazing staff members, all of them. Yes.
Let's hear each of their names. How many staff members are working on this big, beautiful bill? Hundreds.
Their dedication, their endless hours, their hard work made this all possible. I want to thank the White House Office of Legislative Affairs. Who
Okay, so he's going to go through and talk about thanking people. And essentially what has happened, Hakeem Jeffries has had his minute to speak. He took 8 hours to use that minute, which is fine. That's part of the system. He used it. Good for him. And now we get on with the business. Now, we are going to dip out here real quick. We'll come back in, and I think we're just going to skip some of these pleasantries. We will pay attention to this, monitor it, and see ultimately what's the timeline on getting this sucker passed. And, folks, it has not passed yet. So could anything happen here in the bottom of the ninth? With 2 outs and 2 strikes, just ask David Freese. Who knows what's going to happen? I don't know. But we are going to be covering it right here, minute by minute, so stick with us. As Ryan mentioned before, who wins the 2026 midterms? A lot of people were saying if they couldn't get this done, it guarantees the Democrats do. Some of y'all don't like this bill and don't want to see the Republicans pass it. Annie Fry YouTube channel, come tell us, how does the midterm shape up in your mind right now? Annie Fry YouTube vote, leave a comment. We'll be right back.
This is the Annie Fry Show.
Stuart's American Mortgage, the bagel loan is a phone call, even a text message away. And this is a phone call or a text message that goes right to my friend Stewie, who, by the way, will be in studio with us at 1:30 because I got a text message that said, rates are going down. What is that all about? Well, he'll talk to us about it at 1:30. We have lots of questions. He's definitely the one who has the answers. But if you're interested in a new mortgage, if you do need to lower your rate from the high highs, maybe you had to buy a house and that's what the rates were, and you want to get it lowered, better not pay closing costs when you go through the process of getting that loan. The bagel loan is the way to do it. And the bagel loan is only available at Stuart's American Mortgage. 314-324-4440. 314-324-4440 is the number to call. And that is, as I said, a direct line to my friend Stewie. I've used the bagel loan twice. I did not pay closing costs either time. They didn't get rolled into the loan. They just don't exist. Save thousands of dollars. Get yourself the best mortgage out there with Stewie. You can Google the bagel loan and MLS number 226715.
Hey guys, it's Mark Reardon. If you're struggling with low energy, performance issues, or weight gain, Game Day Men's Health has got you covered with testosterone therapy, ED treatments, and more in all of a relaxed man cave environment. At Game Day, you'll get a free testosterone test and consultation, all in just 1 hour. Game Day is the premier men's health clinic with locations in Chesterfield, O'Fallon, Missouri, and Glen Carbon, Illinois. Visit GameDayMen'sHealth.com. That's GameDayMen'sHealth.com. Get back in the game with Game Day Men's Health.
We, without hesitation, recommend that anybody work with ThrottleNet. The experience will be as good as it's been for us, for anybody, because you'll get a true partnership and you'll be able to rest easy that you're going to get the service that you need while they're also doing all those things that you don't want to have to think about, that you don't want to have to worry about. They're always doing that in the background for you.
Don't wait for your next IT crisis. If your business depends on technology, you need a partner that's got your back. Contact ThrottleNet.com to get a free IT evaluation and see how we can support your IT everything.
The Mark Cox Morning Show.
Hey, it's Kim. Hope you all have a wonderful and safe 4th of July. Scott, Ethan, Sue, and I will see you Monday morning starting at 5 a.m.
The Mark Cox Morning Show. Weekdays from 5 to 9. Right here on 97.1 FM Talk.
I know you want to say it. This is the rhythm of the night. This is the rhythm.
The Annie Fry Show is streaming online. Watch us live on YouTube and subscribe.
This is the rhythm of the night.
I think the Republicans were listening to the rhythm of the night last night at 3 a.m. trying to get the job done.
Not sure they ever stopped.
It's just on repeat. This is how
It's
you
like
get the
Gloria,
job done.
2019.
Rhythm anthem of the night is the 2025 Republicans' Gloria.
It's a big, beautiful
Okay.
bill anthem.
Yeah. I'm going to break out in a rave here pretty soon. Let's dip in here and listen to Mike Johnson, who is speaking right now after Hakeem Jeffries has wrapped up his magic minute. We should be getting ready to vote.
You got to hold
soon.
your applause. There's too many wins. Are you tired of winning yet? Fourth jobs report in a row exceeds expectations. A sample of the headlines. Lowest monthly border encounters in U.S. history. We closed the border. Last couple of days, a new trade deal with Vietnam and all the countries of the world, around the world lining up for that. UPenn agrees to ban biological men from women's sports.
Steve Scalise is the woo girl. Steve Scalise is...
And they ought to give
Johnson's
a personal
woo girl.
apology to every female athlete impacted by that nonsense.
Heck yeah.
Gas prices are at a 4-year low, my friends.
On 4th of July
the Air
weekend.
Force and Space Force both hit their 2025 recruiting goals 3 months early.
Do you think Trump wrote this?
Israel is agreeing to a 60-day ceasefire with Hamas. Successful strike on Iranian nuclear sites handles that problem. That's exactly right. Strength is back. America's back. It's resulted now in a ceasefire deal between Iran and Israel. The NATO countries are increasing their defense spending, not just 2%, 5% of GDP, okay? The president got in charge and got a Rwanda-Congo peace deal. The Supreme Court ended nationwide injunctions. How about that? That conservative majority on the Supreme Court also allows third country deportations. We've had a record high stock market, and we're signing a China trade deal. That's just the last 2 weeks. The last 2 weeks. So many simple truths to share, and so little time to do it, because I want everybody to have a break here. But I just want to say this. It's really nice to hear my Democrat colleagues suddenly take an interest in working Americans again. Did you pick up on that theme today? Let's be clear. Working Americans stopped trusting Democrats a long time ago. That is a fact. They're looking to this side of the chamber. They're looking to the Republican Party and our principles to deliver the relief and the reform that they have long demanded and they most certainly deserve. This big, beautiful bill fulfills all the promises of the America First agenda. It is the people's bill. It is made for and shaped by the most diverse coalition of American voters in American history. Today, we are making the dream of a government that puts the American people first a reality. A reality. I would need this entire notebook to tell you all the great things in the big, beautiful bill.
Please don't.
It is aptly named, but I'll just tell you a couple of the highlights. Record tax cuts for hardworking Americans. Historic savings at the same time to end reckless spending. We got energy dominance coming back to power our future. We have a secure border to protect American families. We have a strong military to restore peace through strength. And we have a government that is now accountable and responsive to the people once again. That's what we're delivering. For everyday Americans, this means real, positive change that they can feel, and they will feel much more when this bill is done. Families back home will have real relief, an average of $10,000 in their pockets, thanks to the largest working and middle-class tax cut in the history of this great nation. That's what we're doing today. You got hardworking Americans like our waiters and our bellhops and our hairstylists. They're going to keep 100% of their tips and overtime pay. That is money they earned. It does not belong to the government. It belongs to them, and they deserve to keep it.
I could make an argument that the other money that I'm earning
Small
is
businesses that
also
want to
mine.
build and expand new factories, you know what they could do now? They can write off 100% of their investment. That will have us a lot more building. Young families who want to buy a home will be able to, thanks to historic savings that will put our country on a stronger financial footing. Pregnant women, children, seniors, single mothers, the disabled, and the low-income Americans among us receiving Medicaid and SNAP will have the peace of mind of knowing that we've made these safety nets stronger with our reforms.
There's so much that goes into this big, beautiful bill, and Mike Johnson, the speaker, is on the floor right now speaking after Hakeem Jeffries, of course, has finished his record-breaking 8+ hours of dissent. And so there you have it. We are going to take a quick break here. Congressman Mike Bost is going to be with us, we believe, next. And when he gets on here, I'm going to ask him a lot of questions about, obviously, is this going to pass? Because I don't know that they're going to be able to pass it before he's done talking to us. But what's it like to be in a marathon like this? How does that work? How do the negotiations take place? Are they good faith negotiations? Congressman Mike Bost on the Annie Fry Show next.
Getting a new roof is serious business, and you want to make sure you're working with someone you can trust. Mark Cox here for Correll Roofing Company. My friend Curtis Correll is a lifetime St. Louisan. He's a local business owner, and he's running crews with over 20 years of experience. When Curtis gets on your roof, you can trust him to be honest with you about whether you need a new roof or not. He will work out all of the details with your insurance company and make sure you're getting the right roof for your home. He tells me he doesn't overcommit. So when other roofing companies do that, quality suffers, customer service can drop off. At Correll Roofing, they pay attention to details. They have quality materials and workmanship, and they use quality roofs that are built to last. That's what you want. They can also help you out with luxury line roofing like metal roofs and architectural shingles. Call 314-222-9529. That's 222-9529. Or Correll Roofing Co. on Facebook. If you love the shooting sports and you want to beat the heat this summer, go to the Range St. Louis West, the largest combined indoor range retail store and training center in the area. Mark Cox here. You're going to love the Range. They're out at 14803 Manchester Road in Baldwin, across from Velasquez Park. They offer training for new owners. They offer training for advanced concealed carry. You name it, they can take care of it, and they got the greatest selection in town. Check them out today online. TheRangeSTL.com. Mark Cox here. If you're nearing retirement or already retired, call my friends Thomas Helbig and Bob Kershaw with the Retirement Advisory Group. They'll show you how to link to the market without the risk. They're the official financial advisors of my show. Go online to retirementkey.com.
If you've been injured in a trucking accident in St. Louis, you need attorneys who live here and work here. We know the STL and fight for the STL. You need Kaufman Townsley. Real people, real results. Call 314-500-5000.
Summer in St. Louis means one thing: Cardinals baseball. It's more than a game. It's an STL tradition. The crack of the bat, the roar of the crowd, the boom of the fireworks. It's the soundtrack to summer for Cardinals Nation. So grab your cap and glove and take your spot in the stands. Because in St. Louis, baseball is more than a melody, it's our favorite song. Hey Cardinal fans, hydrate like a champ. Head to the ballpark Saturday, July 12th as the Cardinals take on the Braves. That day, 20,000 fans 16 and older score a City Connect tumbler courtesy of Coca-Cola and Quick Trip. Stay cool and sip in style all summer long with this 30-ounce stainless steel tumbler. Don't miss out on this fan-favorite giveaway. Grab your tickets today at cardinals.com/promotions.
This is Nolan Gorman, St. Louis Cardinals for the Lou.
KFTK FM Florissant from the Kaufman Townsley St. Louis's Injury Lawyers Studio. Call 314-500-5000.
That's 314-500-5000.
All on the free Odyssey app.
A record on the House floor. I'm Lisa Brady, Fox News.
Imagine in America where everyone who works hard and plays by the rules can live the good life, afford to live the good life.
House Minority Leader Hakeem Jeffries just setting a new record for longest House speech as he delays a final vote on the president's signature legislation.
Good paying jobs, good housing, good health care, good education for your children, and a good retirement. That's what House Democrats are fighting for.
Jeffries speaking for more than 8 hours against what supporters call the big, beautiful bill that Democrats warn will strip health care and food assistance with its Medicaid changes, also arguing that other provisions will fail to deliver, for instance, noting an income cap on the tax exemption for tips. House Speaker Mike Johnson just taking the floor.
I just want to say something that many of us learned when we were children. We were taught, it takes a lot longer to build a lie than to tell the simple truth.
Johnson says passing the bill will keep a promise to the American people. National Economic Council Director Kevin Hassett telling Fox.
This is the best, most beautiful tax bill in American history. There isn't even a second place that's close because it's going to create so many jobs. It's going to add $10,000 into the pockets of the typical American family. It's going to put millions and millions of more people to work.
He says the bill will supercharge the economy. It includes making permanent the 2017 Trump tax cuts. Once Johnson is finished speaking, they'll move on to the vote. We're just getting word that actor Michael Madsen has died, known for many roles, but perhaps best from Kill Bill and Reservoir Dogs. He was a favorite of director Quentin Tarantino. His manager just confirming he died unexpectedly. Michael Madsen was 66. America's listening to Fox News.
Do you have 3 ex-wives and your current trophy wife wants a life insurance policy 3 times the size of the policies you had to purchase for your previous mistakes? If so, you need to call Big Lou at Term Provider, 800-777-1225. Big Lou is intimately familiar with your problems, and if you're 50 or 60 years old and in reasonably good health, a $1 million policy should only cost about $100 to $200 per month. Big Lou may have a solution for your previous policies as well. You may even save enough money to lighten the load on your new $1 million policy. Remember, call Big Lou. He's like you, except he's only on number 2. Call Term Provider at 800-777-1225. That's 800-777-1225. For $1 million in term life insurance that you can live with. Call Big Lou at 800-777-1225. 800-777-1225.
Air Comfort Service, heating, cooling, and insulation. Weather.
Chief Meteorologist Dave Murray.
Thursday afternoon, lots of sunshine. Temperatures also up a couple of degrees. 93, certainly nothing extreme. Tonight, clear skies, 74 for the overnight low. Friday, 4th of July, sunny, hot, and humid. Maybe a pop thunderstorm in the afternoon, but tough to find. 95 degrees. Weather looks good. It's warm and humid for all the activities on Friday night. This is 97.1 FM Talk. Chief Meteorologist Dave Murray.
You're listening to the Annie Fry Show Live, sponsored by Air Comfort Service Heating, Cooling, and Insulation. Air Comfort Service is proud to support Greater St. Louis Honor Flight. Sign your veteran up for the Honor Flight today at gslhonorflight.org. And for HVAC services, visit aircomfortservice.com.
That is exactly what I needed to hear.
Thank God someone here knows what they're talking about.
That's us. That's right. Gotta love this American ride.
All right, you need to take the time and get the full picture.
Come on, turn the radio on. It's Saturday and I won't be long.
Don't get me wrong, I love the ladies. I mean, they rev my engine, but they don't belong in the newsroom. It is Anchor Man, not Anchor Lady.
What do you want from me? I'm not America's sweetheart.
Goodness sake, kid. Keep your voice down. Your father's listening to the radio.
I'm not America's sweetheart.
This is the Annie Fry Show.
Well, you know how Congress is. They like to deliver early. It's July 3rd, not July 4th, and the big, beautiful bill is about to get the vote in the House, and we have stolen away one of the representatives here as Congressman Mike Johnson, Speaker Mike Johnson, is speaking. Let's get directly to Congressman Mike Bost. Welcome to the show. This is good to have you right here. Hakeem Jeffries is done speaking. You got to listen to that whole speech.
Yeah, I've never have I heard so many words saying nothing, and it was So he broke a record. That's what he got to do. Now most people won't remember what he said because when Kevin did it, most people don't remember what he said, and when Nancy did it, most people don't remember what she said, but they remember she did it in stiletto heels. That's what you get from long speeches. Mike is giving a very concise speech about this great, big, beautiful bill, what it really does, offsetting a lot of the things that he took 8.5 hours to. Hakeem took about 8.5 hours to try to say things that just weren't true about the bill. That being said, wonderful, good things in the bill. They're going to call the vote here in just a second. We have the votes for it. We're going to send it to the president, and it's everything that he said he was running on. He wanted to drain the swamp. He wanted to shut down the borders. He wanted to stop the invasion across there, get America working again. This has the 22%, stop the 22% tax increase, besides also having in it no tax on overtime, no tax on tips, reduced tax on Social Security, a tax credit for anything you pay in tax when you buy a car, if you buy a new car. You've also got the modification of the SNAP program and Medicaid program to stop waste, fraud, and abuse. You've got rid of a lot of the new Green Deal stuff. We're putting an end to taxpayer-funded abortions. It does defund Planned Parenthood, and also make sure that through everything the no tax dollars can be used for abortion, whether in a state agency or giving grants to any other company.
Yeah.
So as of right now, you can hear in the background they took the voice vote, and then their Democrats will be asking for a roll call vote, and we're going to start. And I'll walk out there and vote with you still on the line. How about that?
Yeah, I love that. Absolutely. We're speaking with Congressman Mike Bost. He's Illinois' 12th District Representative. He's Brad's representative. What is it like, the sausage-making process last night? I stayed up till about 2:30. I couldn't do it. I don't have the endurance of a lot of you folks in Congress. You guys know how to party. What was that like last night?
I'm going to tell you, not only last night, but I got here the night before, and in the last 48 hours, I think I've had 4 hours sleep. So it is... And there's my vote. And we're already climbing pretty fast.
There you go. All right.
All right.
I assume you're a yes vote.
Yeah, that was not a problem. Yeah.
That would be really breaking news here. We'd be watching you go up and do that. So Congressman, what was the hang-up? What did those 8 that didn't vote for so long last night, what did they need to hear, to know, to get in order to cross over?
I don't know what all they got to do. They went over and met with the president, and as we were voting the other procedural votes, they were holding up their procedural votes to try to get some last things done and some commitments from the White House. I don't know what each one of them got or what they were arguing for. A lot of it had to do with the fact that the Senate made our bill, and I agreed with that. I think when they made our bill, when we hold when Medicaid goes to the states, they changed that around where we put a little harsher penalties to those states that have to try to bring them in line, because they're having high error rates when issuing Medicaid to people that don't deserve it. And there was no teeth in the bill before. We put some pretty big teeth in. They probably pulled a few teeth. So, and the argument back and forth. One thing that was in there too, we doubled a line item to help our rural hospitals. The Senate did. I think more conservative members said we didn't want to spend any more money, and so they were arguing about that. But the process is a process. You're going to send something to the Senate. Senate's going to change it. You're going to either agree with it or not. But let me tell you that we got a very, very, very good bill here, the biggest bill I have ever worked on and ever been voted for in my entire life. And I'm sitting here watching the numbers roll up, and I'm going to tell you where we're at right now.
Okay. Live from the House floor.
So we are at 167 Republicans have voted, 168. We got to have 213 to pass it because they only have 212. And so there's still 51 Republicans not voting so far, slowly starting to build up. But I thought they would move faster than that. But
It looks like
they're doing it
It looks like there's one nay on the Republican side
so
yet.
far.
Do we know
So
who that
far.
is?
Yes, there is. It is probably Massey.
Okay, that's not a surprise. Do you expect
No.
do you expect other no's?
Yeah, I think. Well, I say that when we passed the rule last night, it only had one no at the end. There was originally 4, and I think the 3 of them shifted over, and those were the ones that I think were talking with the president. I don't. Even if you're a conservative, and you can argue, oh no, I wanted more. I don't think you go back to your constituents and tell them that you voted against this.
Right.
I just don't see how you do it.
That would be tough.
And so
I wanted to ask you, Congressman Bost, about those changes. You're saying you didn't love the changes that the Senate made to the bill. You mentioned Planned Parenthood. My recollection was that the Senate bill defunded it for 1 year only instead of defunding it. Is that correct?
Yeah. And so they defunded it completely. That's correct.
So on a broader level, not
very
just with Planned Parenthood, but on a lot of these things, is there still room? Like that's not the last say that you're going to have on all these things.
Here's the problem. And remember, you and I have talked about this before. The cloture vote in the Senate.
Mm-hmm.
Everything from here on out, except for judge appointees, and is going to take 60 votes before it has to get 51 votes.
Okay,
that's the problem. So anything that's controversial, you're going to have to make a deal with the Democrats over there to get it out. Sometimes that's pretty expensive, and sometimes you don't make the deals because of it.
Sure.
Congressman Bost, this is Ryan. Those holdout votes yesterday that were, we were all watching last night. I'm sure you were watching just like we were, paying attention to what they were wanting. What were those people trying to get, and did they get it?
That's just it. I tried to listen to figure out what they wanted. Sometimes I think they want to go over and talk to the president, to tell you the truth.
And he obliged?
Because they did. They got called into the president. I guarantee it. So whatever he said to them, either convinced them that it was this bill needed to move and move now, and that was pretty well his position. And then a deal possibly with them that they would work with them to try to move the things that they want in the future. So that's about the best I can tell you because I wasn't privy to the meetings that went on there.
So, Congressman Bost speaking with us right now, you've often told me that the most dangerous place you can be is on the Capitol steps when session gets closed. It's a holiday weekend, and I'm just wondering, is this vote it, and then you're done and you go home, and that flood of people comes? What's that look like?
Yeah. What's really looks wild today is because there's some protesters out on the street. There's a lot of tourists out on the street too. But all the cars are parked down, all trying to get them to the airports to get their first flight out. And trust me when I tell you, if you got a flight that's going to be leaving in about an hour or 40 minutes or better, your driver, our person, our staffer is sweat-setting with the car running at the base of the steps, and they'll run over you to try to get out of there. So if you don't have a flight, take another exit.
Sure. Yeah, 100%. Mike Bost with us right now, Congressman for Illinois' 12th District. You're going to go, I assume you guys are going to enjoy the Independence Day like the rest of this country. Of course, the Republicans going back with a little extra to celebrate this weekend. What happens when the House is back in session, Congress is back in session? What is the next? This is a huge, huge accomplishment, but there is so much left to do. What's next?
Oh, yeah. So we're already, while this is all going on, we're working on the budget bills, trying to pass the budget bills. So, we've already passed about 4. The easy ones that pass are the transportation bill is always pretty easy to pass. Your defense bill is always pretty easy to pass. But then you start getting into some other bills, and it makes it real tough to get to the entire 12 bills of the budget passed. And remember, it's only happened twice since the Budget Control Act has been passed, since 1972, that all of the budgets have been passed on the same time. But that's what we'll be working on. The big thing we're working on. But, of course, each committee, and I running the VA committee, we have a VA bill that we're going to try to work out, and we'll try to get it out by Labor Day.
Congressman Bost, is balancing the budget? Everybody's talking about this as a big point of contention. Is that still something that the House is going to, Republicans anyway, are going to focus on after this?
We're going to try. It's going to be very difficult. Remember, we get another bite at reconciliation next year. That's what people don't understand. Because reconciliation, we're going to get another bite at it. So then what do we put in there? Is that something that we can do with that? Now, it will be hard to judge because I think this – so remember, CBO gave this a really bad score and said it was going to cost and increase the deficit. But they did that when we passed the tax bill of 2017. If you remember, in 2017, the CBO score on that bill was like $2.5 trillion. And then by the time it was said and done, because CBO doesn't calculate for the gross national product increase, by the time it was said and done, we were in $7.5 trillion in the positive, above what they said it was going to be $2.5 trillion in the negative. So I think the same thing is going to happen with this. That's going to make it to where, because we're not going to balance. You're not going to balance the budget by just cuts. You've got to balance the budget by growing the GDP. That's how you get the budget balance.
Do you think, Congressman, last question, do you think that by the time President Trump is done with his second term, if he retains a Republican majority, that we could see a balanced budget?
Yes, I do believe that. I believe that what this is the stimulus that this is going to give to the American economy will help us to make sure we make that balanced budget. We were almost there before COVID, and so yes, if you see growth like what we've seen over the last couple of weeks with the markets and everything like that, just getting excited about the positive things that are going to happen here.
All right. Well, Congressman Bost, we are so grateful to be with you while you go to cast that vote on this big, beautiful bill. It's a huge accomplishment for President Trump, for the House and the Senate that supported him in it. We thank you for your time, and we hope you have the very best Independence Day. Also, thank you for your service
you too.
as well.
Happy 4th.
Take care. Bye-bye. Congressman Mike Bost, Illinois' 12th District Representative. Great to have him on while he's casting his vote on this bill.
I didn't know that was possible.
In a situation like this, it's kind of like a free-for-all because you can go up a lot of times. There will be a roll call. They do that for the speaker vote where you yell out, like you'd be like, Wiggins, and that would be my vote for you for speaker. But with something like this, you can go and you can cast your vote. They tally really fast. And again, while the voting is open, votes can change. That's what happened last night. Fox News is reporting at this point that the Republicans have 203 yeses. I'll say there are 203 yeses. They're all Republicans. There are 208 noes, one of which is a Republican. And you heard Congressman Bost there say he assumes that it's Massey. He also said he thought that there might be some other Republicans that vote against it. But he said we need 213. Isn't that correct?
Yeah. And right now, only 13 no votes left. So
no, that's not voted. Not no votes.
I'm sorry, non-votes.
Haven't voted, yes. 13 people who haven't voted yet. If all of those Republicans vote yes, it would be 219. So you've got votes to spare there. The Democrats have 3 people left to vote. If all the Democrats vote no, then the total no vote would be 213. So I presume that they need to have 214. So it says the time remaining is 3:50. We're going to take a very, very quick break right here. When we come back, we might have the news about the passage, or you never know, these holdouts at the end, if they want to cause some funny business, you never know. 11 left to vote for the Republicans, 208 yes, 211 no. Only 2 Democrats left that haven't voted yet. We will see what happens and have the completion of it, I believe. When we come back, don't go away.
You're listening to The Annie Fry Show. Find the podcast, on-demand audio, and more at 971talk.com/Annie.
We've been here 30 years. 30 Christmases in this house, and we have the traditions that most families have.
That's Terry talking about her experience with Rhino Shield ceramic coating.
We did Rhino Shield 14 years ago, and the house still looks the same as the first day. Rhino Shield really worked with me to help me get just the right nice soft yellow, and it's 14 years later, and it's the same color.
The main reason Terry called Rhino Shield is because it's backed by its 25-year transferable warranty.
It just sounded wonderful that we could have the house coated with Rhino Shield and not have to worry about it again for 25 years.
Take it from Terry. Give Rhino Shield a call now for a free evaluation. 877-25-RHINO. 877-25-RHINO. Or visit 877-25rhino.com.
There have been neighbors that have come by and said, "Did you just have your house painted?" Because they wanted to know who the contractor was. And I said, "No, it's actually Rhino Shield."
877-25rhino.com.
You ask a lot of your liver, so give it the support it needs with Active Liver. Active Liver provides an easy daily detox. Go to nordiciusa.com, Amazon, or ask for Active Liver at your local CVS. New you, new Nordic.
Do you ever feel like a plastic bag?
This is the Annie Fry Show.
Wanting to start again. Do you ever feel so paper thin, like a house of cards, one blow from caving in? Do you ever feel already buried deep, 6 feet under screens, but no one seems to hear a thing? Do you know that there's still a chance for you, 'cause there's a spark in you, you just gotta ignite.
So 210 yeses, 212 no's, with 9 Republicans left to vote here, and 1 Democrat left to vote. Another Republican has just voted no. So there are 213 no's right now, with one Democrat left to go. It's 213 to 213 yeses. Let's just listen directly in here to Fox News and see the live coverage.
That may be Ralph Norman, so he can say goodbye to his gubernatorial bid in South Carolina, if that's Ralph.
Okay, Trey, it's Fitzpatrick from Pennsylvania.
Who did vote against the procedural vote in the middle of the night as well. So that's Brian Fitzpatrick in a very moderate district. I believe President Biden won his district in 2024. But Trey, go ahead, continue.
Yeah, I think the thing with the deficit, I mean, what drives our deficit and our debt's mandatory spending, and I've sat through many State of the Union addresses where it just didn't come up because it's not politically popular. I mean, Paul Ryan ran on entitlement reform, and they ran ads with him pushing Granny off a cliff in a wheelchair. So everybody talks about debt and deficits, but it's much more popular to spend than to cut. So I don't, until there is the political will to take on Medicare, Social Security, Medicaid, they have a little bit, interest on the debt, then you're not going to see appreciable reductions in the debt or the deficit.
Can we check back in with Mark Meredith? Mark, I want to pop you back up. Trey, if you could stand by with us. As you can see, the number is quickly approaching 217, 216, but we just saw another nay add to the screen. Mark.
We sure did, Sandra, and that is Brian Fitzpatrick of Pennsylvania. As Rich pointed out, he is representing a swing district in the Keystone State, and there have been some indications that he wasn't going to be supporting this package along the way. He's certainly been outspoken about the need for more U.S. support for Ukraine, and we saw, as Rich pointed out, that he decided to vote against part of the effort to move this bill forward early this morning. So an indication that this was a no vote that was expected. So it looks like we appear to be maybe just 1 vote away. 2 no votes right now. I'm sorry, 2 votes that have not happened yet. I'm told Andy Harris as well as John James, but we need to make sure that this is happening in real time. We're relaying information essentially via carrier pigeons here to try to understand what's happening. But I'll tell you what, actually, Congressman, we're live here on the air right now on Fox. You can take your gum out. I apologize. Let me ask you, what was it like there in the chamber? What did you think as we look for this number right here?
Well, obviously, the party came together today to pass one of the largest tax relief bills in American history, increase domestic production of energy, secure our borders, strengthen our military, and start to rein in the size and scope of the federal government. We are $36 trillion in debt. We're projected to spend $86 trillion over the next decade. This bill starts to make significant savings across the entirety of the federal government so that we can actually reduce spending and bring down the cost of living for Americans. This is a big win for Americans across the country. You look at the tax provisions, the doubling of the standard deduction, the enhanced child tax credit, no tax on tips, no tax on overtime. You see...
those will expire in 2028, correct? Those provisions specifically
Sure,
on
within the tax code, but that's normal. The tax code has always had expiration dates on many provisions. We come back and keep working towards it. But the objective here is to provide real and immediate relief to Americans all across the country, low-income Americans, middle-class, working-class families. Lifting the cap on salt was a key priority for me.
I was going to say, you spent a lot of time on that.
Happy to have delivered on that along with my colleagues, lifting the cap to $40,000 with a $500,000 income threshold, 1% growth. That is real tax relief for folks who have been besieged by high property taxes, high state income taxes across the country.
Let me ask you about the Democratic opposition, which was united, and you've got now 2 Republicans that are coming out against this as well. So you obviously have some people from both parties that are certainly not happy with this. You saw Hakeem Jeffries speak for 8 hours, 44 minutes. Do you think that this could come back to bite Republicans next November by any chance?
No. Look, once the American people understand everything that is in the bill, as opposed to what the Democrats have been trying to tell them is in the bill, they are going to support the largest tax cut that they've seen. The fact is, had we not passed this bill, you would have had the largest tax increase in American history. Our border is secure. We just saw the report. 0 border crossings in the month of June. That is significant. We are supporting that effort, increasing the number of border agents and ICE agents. You look at the need to strengthen our military and our defense from the threats around the globe, especially from China. You see what's happening. The president is securing trade agreements. We are going to go through deregulation to help open up American opportunity for businesses. You're going to see continued job growth. Today we saw job growth beating expectations for the month of June.
All right. Hey, Mark, you can let him know we've reached the magic number
I think we hit
there.
the magic number, so I think that's why I wanted to interrupt you. I know you had a question, Sandra, for the congressman. This is going to be a game of telephone. Congressman Sandra Smith, our State Day colleague, he says that. What was your question for the congressman?
Well, the congressman was just on our set a couple days ago, so good to see him again. All right, so we've got 217, the 2 nays on the board, 1 no vote so far. Just can you give us sort of the tone of the floor? Obviously, with so many lawmakers
She wants to
watching
know
that
what the
lengthy
tone on the
speech.
floor was like. What was the tone like?
Look, I think obviously the Democrats were very somber, trying to strike fear in the American people. I think on our side of the aisle, people are happy to get the votes to get this bill passed after months of work that went into this to make sure that we provided tax cuts, that we provided a stronger and more secure border, a stronger military, increased domestic production of energy, and rein in the size and scope of government. There was a lot of work that went into this over the past few months, and this was a culmination of that. And so,
was this rushed, though? I mean, the July 4th deadline was just Trump self-imposed. I mean, do you feel like this was rushed?
You had the debt ceiling that was coming due, and the fact is, look, you could sit and debate these issues for months on end. We did put a lot of work into this. Obviously, the House passed a version of the bill. The Senate made changes. Ultimately, you get it across the finish line. You're not going to love everything that is in a bill. There are a lot of members that didn't like having to increase the cap on salt. But that was something that mattered to my constituents, that matters to New York, and I delivered on it. So, look, you work together as a team. You get it across the finish line. At the end of the day, you got to have a majority in both the House and the Senate. This bill now moves on for President Trump to sign it into law tomorrow.
Will you be there at the White House tomorrow afternoon?
We'll see.
It's 4th of July. It's a holiday. I get it. Yeah, I got to work.
I have a 3-year-old and an 8-month-old at home. So
okay. Well, get back to New York then. Thank you so much for your time, Congressman. We appreciate it. So, Sandra, as you and Rich were following, thank you, sir, following along in real time, it appears the House has the votes to pass this bill. The White House will be taking its victory lap here any time now. Democrats likely storming off in opposition. And as Rich pointed out, we know that they're going to bring this up during the congressional recess period in August. I do expect Republican leadership to come to some microphones not too far away from where I am.
So Mark Meredith reporting from Capitol Hill saying he expects the Democrats to storm off in opposition. That tracks. So let's take a quick break. When we come back, we have Stuart Rosenblum in studio with us. He's the president of Stuart's American Mortgage. I'm a client of Stuart American Mortgage and have refied with him. He's the best out there. He is a great, honest guy, but he's also my source. All these money things that continue to happen. I keep looking at my stocks, and I've looked at my 401k, and I look at the gas pump, and I'm saying to myself, where's all the scary stuff that was supposed to happen right now after President Trump got into his second term? Now the big, beautiful bill has passed. What does that mean for you? What does that mean for mortgage rates? What does that mean for the Fed? We're going to find out from our expert friend and partner, Stewie, next.
This is the Annie Fry Show.
Cannot be replaced. If you only knew what the future holds after a hurricane comes a rainbow, maybe a reason why.
TheDiamondShop.net, you are in the best of hands with this family-owned and operated business that has the beautiful, beautiful, beautiful sparkling things. You want to talk about sparkling for the 4th of July, Independence Day. Make sure you stop by the Diamond Shop and see what they have to offer you. This is a good time to remind you, 6 months same as cash financing, which means if you have, in the next 6 months, something special that you're looking to give somebody, we're talking now into Christmas time. That's within 6 months. That's crazy. You go to the Diamond Shop. You pick out something really special that is timeless. It's going to be priceless. The amount of time that you're going to be able to enjoy this one special thing is forever. It's generational. The Diamond Shop is there to guide you through that process, to make you feel comfortable, to respect you when you walk in, to respect your budget when you walk in to the store, and to listen. Isn't that one of the most important things when you're making an investment like this? You're doing it with great people at the Diamond Shop. I'm a customer. My husband's been a customer. I hope you will be too as well. TheDiamondShop.net.
Surprise!
Surprise!
You know, surprise parties, they can be fun, right? Well, financial surprises, not so much, especially when you're retired, like finding out you owe more in taxes than you thought you would, or having to go back to work to make ends meet. Maybe you think you'll be okay, but why not double check just to be sure? Call Marvin Mitchell at Compass Retirement Solutions and schedule a retirement double check. Marvin and his team have been helping families plan for retirement for more than 15 years. Call 314-373-1598 to schedule your retirement double check with Marvin Mitchell at Compass Retirement Solutions. That's 314-373-1598. Don't let a financial surprise derail your retirement dreams. Give Marvin and the team a call, 314-373-1598. Firm offers insurance services, investments, and services offered through Compass Retirement Group, a registered investment advisory in Missouri and in Illinois.
The YouTube live chat poll today is about the midterms. I was talking into the ether. I was just talking into nothing there for a couple minutes. Who wins the 2026 midterms? Let us know what you think by voting. You type in Annie Fry on YouTube. Today's date will come up. You vote right there. You can leave a comment. 1:32. This time check is sponsored by Jerry Kelly Heating and Air Conditioning.
It's time for a $98 AC tune-up.
American girls and American guys, we'll always stand up and salute. We'll always recognize when we see old glory flying. There's a lot of men dead, so we can sleep in peace at night when we lay down our head. My daddy served in the army, where he lost his right eye, but he flew a flag out in our yard till the day that he died. He wanted my mother, my brother, my sister, and me to grow up and live happy in the land of the free. Now this nation that I love is falling under attack. A mighty sucker punch came flying in from somewhere in the back. Soon as we could see clearly through our big black eye, man, we lit up your world like the 4th of July.
Well, it's the big, beautiful bill passing. It is official. It is affirmative. Donald Trump got his request. He set the deadline, and he will be able to sign that bill, I presume, tomorrow, but maybe. I don't know if he's going to do it this evening. We will let you know as soon as we know. There are so many things in motion with this administration, especially economically speaking. That is one of the main reasons I think that the president was sent back for a second term over the, dabbling in the socialist ideas of Kamala Harris. So I always go to Stewie. I'm always texting him. 314-324-4440. That's the number I always tell you when I'm doing endorsements for Stewie to get the bagel on. But that's also the number that I text him when I'm like, what is the Fed chair doing? And Stewie's here to talk to us about it. Hi, Stewie.
How you doing today?
I'm doing well. I'm glad that the bill is passed, and I don't have to say big, beautiful bill every day now.
You know what? Happy 4th.
Amen.
There we go.
Happy Independence Day.
We have real reasons to celebrate now, not this baloney stuff over the last couple of years.
For sure. So I'm looking at all of the things that indicate how well the economy is doing for me, and at least everything seems to be trending in the right direction, or it's the best it's ever been. What do you feel about the economy right now?
I actually think that GDP is slow. I don't think it's really rambunctious that we want it to be.
Mm-hmm.
I think a lot of this is due to what the Federal Reserve has not done, which they should be doing.
Why wouldn't they?
Politics.
That's it.
Everything else in the world, everybody else has cut the interest rates. All the other countries have cut them. We see a slight slowing in GDP, nothing major, which is, to those people that thought these tariffs would all of a sudden make inflation go through the roof. They're not. So there's no reason on any type of financial scale that the Federal Reserve should not be cutting the interest rates. Now, they're meeting here in about 2-3 weeks' time, and the Federal Reserve the chair, Powell, is looking for reasons not to cut those interest rates. This is bad for our economy. This is bad for the national debt. It's bad across the board. And you don't have to worry, which is why the Federal Reserve keeps rates as high as they usually do. You don't have to worry about overheating the economy. It's going to be great if they cut it. We need to make sure that we don't enter any type of recessionary phase. We're not rambunctious. We're not. The economy is not steamrolling.
So I always want to use this as an opportunity to bring it back a little bit, so people listening who, they don't feel like they're the ones who are directly impacting what the president's going to do on the economy, so they don't lean in too much to this. But it gets talked about a lot, especially like you're mentioning it, and the president has mentioned it, and I've heard other economic experts mention it in a political sense. If the Fed chair, Jerome Powell, decides to lower rates, what does that do to the economy that he's worried about?
Well, he's afraid everybody's going to go spending money left and right, and all of a sudden you're going to have a huge glut of people buying specific items where there's low supply and high demand.
Is that what happened in COVID with the stimulus?
That's exactly what happened in COVID. People got cash rich. They went out and spent all kinds of money. I remember in August before the inflation numbers came out, I was actually on the air and I said, this kind of repeats what Jimmy Carter did. He spent a bunch of money and he increased employment, and all of a sudden you had 13%, 14% inflation. So all of a sudden you're infusing the economy, in those days. Why would you give people tons of money when the economy is growing at 6%?
Because you want votes.
You want votes. Free money. Go get it.
Yeah.
Well, what do you think is going to happen if everybody got a ton of money in their pockets? They're going to go and spend that money. There'll be more demand than there is supply. The prices will go up.
So if you're saying that he's worried that we'll infuse cash in the pockets, it'll all go get spent, why, if that's the case, why would he lower those rates now?
Well, that's his excuse. He says, look, if we lower it, people are going to go out and borrow more because it's going to be more affordable, and all of a sudden you're going to have 10 people more wanting to buy the car, and the supply chain can't pick up, and all of a sudden you have increased prices, which means higher inflation. It's not going to happen. We're stable. We're after COVID. This is past. Cutting the rates 0.25%, 0.5%. The market, the actual market overall in our country last month was down 13%. The housing market was down 13%. Maybe not so much in St. Louis. This is one of the hottest markets in the country. But overall, it's down 13%. If you don't cut the interest rates, you're not going to balance that challenge. And you can see housing prices in the East and Northwest go down where it hurts the economy. You don't want that. You want an increased price of a nice, comfortable pace, and you want an increase in ability and affordability overall for that demand. Keeping the interest rates this high, people can't afford it. About 2-3 years ago, the average person buying a home was 34 years old. It's up to 38 years old.
Ugh.
So young people can't afford to get these houses at these rates. You got to cut it and give people the opportunities.
So we're speaking with Stewie from Stewart's American Mortgage. You hear me talk about the bagel loan all the time. I'm a client myself of the bagel loan. So when I speak about it, I'm speaking as a customer, a client, and grateful to have him in here to offer you the the perspective or whatever that he and I talk about all the time when it comes to these finances. The big, beautiful bill, I don't know how much, I don't know if you read all 960 pages or stayed up all night when the Senate read it. But,
I started.
but there are all of these things on the horizon of what the president has done that are supposed to affect the economy. Trade deals continue to come in with the tariffs. A lot of people have very differing opinions on the benefit of tariffs, but we're going to have to wait and see. The big, beautiful bill is done. There are going to be rescissions packages that are going to come through that are going to cut spending. How are you up right now on the future of the American economy? How do you feel?
I am extremely up on the economy. I think the reason why we're not actually in recessionary quote-unquote phases is because of the things that the present administration is doing to prevent us from falling on our face. If you go back to the old policies, it's even worse. Inflation was going up. It wasn't going anywhere, and you saw interest rates stay up, elevated now. But, you know, the big, beautiful bill is going to help everybody across the board. And that's an important factor from a mortgage perspective, people being able to buy houses overall. But it's still, you need a cut in those rates.
Mm-hmm.
You know, the government goes ahead and pays debt based on those interest rates. Yeah, everybody thinks it's just about housing, but it's about government debt. It's about corporate debt. You know, if corporations, it's too expensive for them to produce the items because they have to borrow at 7-8% interest rates, well, they either have to turn around and pass those costs along to you, or they won't produce those particular items. You cut the interest rates, it gives them the ability to produce more. More supply means what? Lower prices, less worry about inflation, and people having the ability to go out and purchase those items as well to balance out the supply versus demand. That's the key. That's why it's such a wonderful type of process. Now, of course, I go out there and I say this and I get, oh, you don't know what you're talking about. But you know what? I know what the previous administration did. I know what happened with interest rates with the previous administration. I know that I wasn't better off 4 years before and 4 years after.
Yeah.
Most people I talk to feel the same way. So even some of those who don't want to completely admit it kind of say,
they
yeah,
probably
well,
have other reasons why they think they're better now.
So it's going to be better for everybody across the board. But the Federal Reserve has to cut those interest rates. They're meeting in 3 weeks, and I'm not so sure right now. And you know, just to carry it off and go a little bit, if it's okay with you.
Yeah, I'm just here for this.
You know, about 2-3 weeks ago, mortgage rates started to drop. Those mortgage rates started to drop based on the anticipation that the Federal Reserve was going to cut the interest rate back at the end of July.
And let me ask you an interjected question here. What were the rates at the highest highs that we've had here in the last couple 3 years, whatever? Where did they top out at?
I would say around 8%.
And that's for somebody who has good credit?
Yeah.
You're just looking to buy a
You're
house?
just looking to buy a house,
and you're
close to 8%.
Poorly timed?
Yeah, it was
8%.
bad timing. Now, a lot of people who bought the houses when it was 8% actually did a smart thing, because now they're refinancing to lower rates and they got the right price for the right house.
Sure, because less buyers at 8%.
Less buyers, competition.
So 8% is where it topped out at. You messaged me a little bit earlier, and you can get to that right now, where you said they were anticipating that there would be a cut, rates would come down. So I just want to set the tone for where, because, you know, you helped me get a rate in the twos. So anybody who's looking...
Don't tell anybody, because they'll be calling me today for rates in the twos.
That was in COVID, and we need a worldwide crisis probably to get back to that. But, I mean, that's my point being, whatever the best deal is at the time, you're going to help people get that. That was 8s at some point. So you can continue on with your point here. But because when we're talking about these rates fluctuating, people might have a rate in the 2s or the 3s and hear rates are in the 6s. My God. But they might not know that they topped out in the 8s. They topped out.
Well, we're right now what we're dealing with is people being smart enough to take the opportunity when it comes. So 2-3 weeks ago, okay, inflation numbers were kind of settling down a little bit, and everybody thought the Federal Reserve was going to cut the rates. The GDP was a little bit off in many sectors, so they're saying, oh, it's good, but who knows? So everybody felt the Federal Reserve is going to cut the rates. All of a sudden, the markets reacted, and mortgage rates went down almost 0.5%. This is a great opportunity. So right now we are actually inundated with a lot of people who got smart and said, hey, I bought my house in the last 3 years. My rate's 7% plus. or in the upper sixes or pretty high. Can I refinance and get a lower rate? And we're refinancing everybody that's coming in our door. So it's a great opportunity. The problem you have, people don't act quickly because now today's jobs report came out and the jobs report was better than expected, which gives more fuel for Powell not to cut those rates. And all of a sudden, if that happens, you're going to see rates bounce right back up. So you have to be smart and take the opportunity right now. People come over and say, hey, I'm going to wait to see if the rate gets a little bit lower. I don't know what I'm going to do. And then they miss the opportunity. With us, obviously, about the bagel loan. So there's no closing costs. You refinance now. Later on, if rates go down again, you can do it again. It doesn't cost you anything. And that's a big measure. So if you bought your house over the last 3 years, and don't judge your rate because different people get different rates. Your actual credit score and your income will determine what that rate's going to be, and it could be a big 0.5 to 0.75% differential.
Ryan's favorite legislation or regulation of the past 5 years is the one where if you have super good credit, you've got to pay a little extra.
Yeah, I love that.
Is that still in place?
That's still in place. So that's what I'm talking about. We had a customer come in, and their rate was about 7%, in the upper 6 or 7%. Anybody else in that particular situation, it doesn't pay to refinance. They're not going to get that much better in the rate. In this particular one, other people, yes. This person's income was below a certain level, and we have programs which are subsidized by the government, by the way, that if your income is less, you get a better rate. And who pays for that risk offset? The people who have more income.
The Ryan Wigginses of the world.
The Ryan. So people call me and say, hey, I'm making $1 million a year. I'm going to get the best rate. No, you're not going to get the best rate. People may have making 50, 60, 70,000. They're going to get the better rate. Now,
it's outrageous, but it's the current game. Isn't that what ticks you off the most, Ryan?
It's like socialized.
It's communism. I mean, it's
he's
just
tapping. You should see, if you're watching, you can see him. He's fidgeting. He's containing himself.
Why is this not being addressed? This is something we need to yell louder so the administration hears it.
Well, the previous administration was very gung-ho on minority lending, okay? The head of the CFPB was a person that was very much driven towards areas that are lower income to be able to get better mortgages. Now, they didn't consult the mortgage industry because very often, and this is not a prejudice thing, but very often you go to the poor areas, the credit issues are much heavier as well. It's a very, very collateralized.
Yeah,
so,
that could be rural or
it just
city-based,
happens
sure.
to be that way. It's not a specific ethnic thing. It's just a matter of income. So if you're going to give those people a lower rate, what makes you think that the delinquency rates are going to be better because you're giving them a lower rate? It's not. They didn't consult the industry. But what they did say is, we want to stir up home ownership for those lower income areas, which, by the way, I'm 100% for. You can create programs and do better, but you're penalizing the people who make more to offset that risk. That should not be allowed. Why should my situation, because I'm making more money and I've earned it, I worked hard for it, and my credit's better, all of a sudden I have to pay more to offset somebody else? That doesn't make any sense. Stir up programs for minorities to be able to afford it in a different fashion.
Yeah.
And they didn't do that.
Who made that regulation? Like, where did that come from?
Last administration.
Was it an executive? Like, how did it? Do you know how it got put into action?
I don't know the details, but it was definitely in the spirit of what the administration wanted to do, and the CFPB wanted to do.
I think the mayor candidate from New York City would like that.
Well, no, he would want to say just everybody get free mortgages, and we'll give everybody that, and everybody else has to pay for it. Something
and
like
a
that.
puppy and a rainbow.
All my friends in New York are calling me. We're moving down to Florida. We're just going to Florida. It's a red state. It's easy. It's normal.
I'm obligated to tell them to make sure they vote differently if they weren't doing so in New York when they go to Florida.
They are. It's there was a small turnout in that election, so I think when people realize that who this guy really is and its possibility, hopefully they'll flood the voting booths.
Yeah, I'm positive on that one. I might be the only person in the country, but I think New York City is going to get it right. We'll wait and see.
I'd love to see a Republican mayor in New York City. That would be amazing.
Well, maybe we'll get there someday. Stewie, we appreciate you. Happy Independence Day. As I was mentioning, if you're interested in talking to Stewie, my advice to you is if you think that you even have a question, if there's even a question in your mind about whether or not you currently have the best mortgage situation, a possible refinance, you can use the bagel and cash out refinance as well, right?
Absolutely.
Because I did it. I just want to make sure you still can.
You still can.
Put a new deck on my house. The previous deck, when you walked on it, It was off it's like over the top of a walkout basement. The deck moved back and forth when you walk on it. We needed to get some cash, and we did it with Stewie. 314-324-4440. Just talk to him about it. You're not committed or obligated to anything, but Stewie, I just asked you about doing another cash out refinance, and you told me a better way to do it. So
That's right.
People can trust you. I certainly do.
Thank you.
Thanks for being with us.
Thanks for having me.
Have a great Independence Day.
You too.
All right, let's take a quick break. We'll get at the update on the big, beautiful bill passage. I don't know if we're going to listen to any more speeches today. I think they've said what they need to say. We'll be right back.
This is the Annie Fry Show. Follow Annie on X at Annie Fry Show.
Justice will be served and the battle will rage. This big dog will fight when you rattle his cage. And you'll be sorry that you mess with the
Hi,
US
Chad Hansen with Hansen's Tree Service. You know your trees can't talk, but if they could, they'd be calling me. From trimming to treatments, we'll make your trees the healthiest and happiest on the block. Call us before your trees start giving you the silent treatment. Check us out at hansenstree.com.
Tony LaRussa here. Has your loss of energy and weight gain thrown you a curveball in your relationship? If so, go see my friends over at Victory Men's Health. Discreet, first-class professionals will help you hit those curves out of the park. VictoryMen'sHealth.com. That's VictoryMen'sHealth.com.
97.1 FM Talk is proud to support the first ever Brendan Donovan Charity Clay Shoot happening Thursday, August 7th at Strathelman Farms Club in Weldon Spring. Join Cardinals standout Brendan Donovan, teammates, and local celebs for a day of clay shooting and community, all to benefit Team Red, White, and Blue and their mission to support veterans' health and wellness. Don't wait. Sponsorships and shooter sponsor going fast. Visit teamrwb.org/Donovan now to sign up. Show your support and make a difference for those who've served. 97.1 FM Talk, backing our veterans every step of the way.
There's a lot of reasons why your air conditioner might not be doing the job it needs to be, and sometimes it might not even actually be your AC unit. Maybe it's working great, and for some reason the house isn't staying cool, or maybe in the winter it's not even staying warm. I want to talk to you about the attic insulation solution from Air Comfort Service. Reach out to them at 314-513-0091, 314-513-0091, and talk to them about how you might be losing energy, i.e. money, through your roof, through your attic, because it's not insulated correctly. Attic insulation reduces heat transfer from your living space and the outdoors. It helps to keep the air cool during the summer, warm during the winter. You know the drill. With proper attic insulation, you're going to enjoy lower utility bills, improved indoor air comfort, reduced stress on your HVAC system because it doesn't have to run all the time to try to achieve that desired temperature, and an increase in your home value. Call them at 314-513-0091, 314-513-0091, aircomfortservice.com.
On-time news. On your time. Download the Odyssey app and dip in whenever you want. And stay on top of what's happening. 97.1 FM Talk on the Odyssey app. This is the Annie Fry Show. Follow Annie on X at Annie Fry Show.
Wiggins!
Oh,
Wiggins! All right, well, I don't want you guys to get hurt on July 4th. But if you do, these are the common ways that you will that are very, very American on July 4th. Kind of a weird angle, but
an American way to get hurt?
These are American ways to get hurt on July 4th. I don't want you to. I'm just saying that if you do, it's probably going to be one of these.
You've said that you don't want me to get hurt so many times that I don't believe you.
Well, maybe you should read between the lines.
I have. It's almost like it's more about your interest in being on record.
I'm not going to argue with that.
You got to be genuine.
I said 3 times that I did not want her to get hurt.
I don't want somebody to come back
it's
after
like when
this weekend.
Annie points out the curling iron's hot.
Yes, every single day, Annie tells me that the curling iron is hot. I already know that the curling iron is hot, but I also might grab it if she doesn't say that. So she has to tell me. And these are those. These are things that you probably already know. You know the curling iron's hot, but a reminder. First of all, fireworks-related injuries.
Yeah.
Fireworks are by far the most frequent source of an injury, according to a number of ER doctors.
Is Put It in Reverse, Jerry, about fireworks?
Put It in Reverse, Jerry. I don't know.
You don't know that meme?
No.
All right. I'll show you soon.
Put It in Reverse,
Well,
Jerry.
we could play it. We could if it's for radio. If it They're putting off
was-
fireworks or something, and Jerry is there, and I think he's in a wheelchair.
Are you sure it isn't Terry?
Terry?
Because I saw somebody wearing
Maybe
a
it's
hat
Terry.
at
They
my
say-
church
Yeah.
yesterday that said "Put it in reverse."
Terry, okay, yeah,
And I'm
that's
like,
right.
what's that?
Yeah, it's a good one.
And people said, "Oh, it's from a meme." I still hadn't seen it.
That's what it is.
Fireworks.
I think it's fire. Yeah, they're all saying Terry. Everybody
okay.
but me knows. I was so close though.
Well, I know what it is, but I don't know what it is.
Mhm.
We see everything from minor hand and facial burns to severe trauma from fireworks exploding in close proximity. Improvised or illegal fireworks tend to cause the worst damage. Welcome to Illinois, where they're all illegal. Next one is alcohol-related incidents. With more people indulging in alcoholic beverages for the 4th, board-certified emergency medicine says that they've seen everything from falls and cuts to vehicle accidents and alcohol poisoning. I will say this. Whenever I leave on the 4th at night, any sort of display that's happening, there are way more police out on July 4th night than I typically see.
Good. They're trying to stop drunk driving.
They are trying to stop it. And by the way, listen to my special while you're driving and not drinking. The 4th of July Music for Fireworks special starts at 8, goes to 11. Commercial free. Next one. This was really the point of the segment, was just like sneak that in a couple times. Grill burns and cooking accidents. July is the peak month for grill fires. Have you experienced any of these things?
Grill burns?
I mean, any of like fireworks things. This is like your territory.
No, I hang out with people that have experienced these things, yes. Me personally, no, because I'm also the one that's like, no, I'm not holding the bottle rocket to see how long I can hold it.
Right. But grill burns and cooking accidents. Have you ever seen anybody, really it says mishandling propane tanks?
Not that. I've seen trip and fall and knock grill over.
Really?
Which isn't great.
You've seen that?
Yeah.
Wow. What is it? Can you just describe that a little bit more?
No. We don't
Okay.
want to ruin anybody's weekend.
Okay, heat exhaustion and dehydration. I'm surprised that this still comes up. This has got to be the most well-hydrated generation in the history of the world. And yet we're always talking about, well, you got to
We
drink
grew up
more.
at a time where we weren't allowed to have water in our desks or in our possession.
Yeah, because
Like, absolutely not. You'd spill. It's a mess. What do you
Yes.
think you need?
And that is the
H2O?
cause of half of all problems are, well, did you drink enough? The last one is drownings and near drownings. July has the highest number of drowning deaths compared to all other months, according to the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention.
That's sad.
Children are particularly at risk, so if you take anything from this segment, watch your kids around water this coming weekend because this is the time.
Did
for
you
that.
see the story about the 4-year-old that went overboard on a Disney cruise?
Oh my gosh, yes.
Dad jumped in after her. There were stories going around that he was like holding her, maybe in a way that caused her to fall. Those are not accurate. They were playing shuffleboard on the cruise, and the 4-year-old crawled where she wasn't supposed to be and fell over. And he jumped in and he saved her. The ship stopped. They sent out a boat. They pulled him out of the water, and everything's fine. But oh my gosh,
Yeah, that's an incredible story.
Lord have mercy.
The report, I'm glad to hear that because the report I saw said that he had placed her somewhere very precarious.
No, there are reports that have come out afterwards that said that's not how it happened. And for everybody out there who's saying he should have been watching her closely, those little buggers can move very quickly. And with the story being what it is, there's no lesson that father is going to learn that you have to teach him. Pretty sure after jumping into the ocean, whatever lesson is to be learned has been learned. Who's going to win the midterms? Vote in the YouTube poll. We'll be right back.
Hi, I'm Bob Kershaw with Retirement Advisory Group. Are you worried about market volatility? Are you concerned your money won't last you through retirement?
Hi, I'm Tammy Kershaw, and as a family-owned business, we are committed to protecting your retirement, whether you're nearing retirement or already retired. We have a lot of folks that aren't aware of all the new investment choices that are available, which give you growth and protection from losses at the same time. Are you aware of all the fees that you are currently paying? We can show you how to avoid those fees. So come in now for your free retirement review and get a second opinion on your retirement plan. And just for coming in, you'll get a copy of our latest edition book, Your Key to a Worry-Free Retirement. Let us show you how to retire with confidence.
We are proud to say we haven't lost a penny of our clients' money in 39 29 years, and we won't lose a penny of yours either. Let our family help your family. Call us now at 314-993-9494 or go online to retirementkey.com. That's retirementkey.com.
Your home sold guaranteed, or I'll buy it. Hi, I'm Gloria Liu, broker owner at Your Home Sold Guaranteed Realty. And for over 20 years, I've been getting my home sellers the most money for their home and selling faster than the average agent. So when you're ready to sell your home or have questions, call me.
For years now, I've been telling you about my friend and trusted realtor, Gloria Liu, and why you should call. Hey, it's Mark Cox. Fact is, when I needed to sell my home, my only call was to Gloria Liu, and she delivered. Gloria exceeded our expectations, and that's why I strongly recommend you call, especially in this shifting market. No matter what happens, you're guaranteed to sell your home at 100% of market value, or Gloria will pay the difference. Call today. Get an upfront written guarantee and start packing. Sell with certainty and for 100% of market value, or Gloria will pay you the difference. Call 314-325-6888 or visit GloriaHasTheBuyers.com. That's GloriaHasTheBuyers.com.
Gloria and seller must agree on price and possession date.
KFTK FM Florissant from the Kaufman Townsley St. Louis's Injury Lawyers Studio. Call 314-500-5000.
That's 314-500-5000.
All on the free Odyssey app.
Fox News Alert. The bill is passed. I'm Lisa Brady. The House just giving final approval to what the president calls the big, beautiful bill.
On this vote, the yeas are 218, the nays are 214. The motion is adopted.
Chants of USA after the vote and shortly before. As House Speaker Mike Johnson alluded to Independence Day tomorrow.
We have squabbles, we have partisan debates and all of this, but at the end of the day, we're all Americans, man. And we gotta believe that. We gotta know it. We gotta recognize that we live in the greatest nation in the history of the world. It's not even close.
He spoke in defense of the tax cut and spending plan Republicans say will help American workers and fire up the economy. House Minority Leader Hakeem Jeffries calls the bill immoral, setting a new record for longest House speech, 8 hours, 44 minutes, to rail against it.
Republicans are trying to take a chainsaw to Social Security, a chainsaw to Medicare, a chainsaw to Medicaid, a chainsaw to the health care of the American people.
Jeffries reading letters from concerned Americans, also highlighting rejected amendments to call attention to other issues, including abortion rights and birthright citizenship. The House vote sends the bill to President Trump, who had set a July 4th deadline and plans to sign it tomorrow. He calls it one of the most consequential bills ever and was personally involved in helping to win support from some holdout Republicans. Homeland Security officials just confirming that Mexican boxer Julio Cesar Chavez Jr. has been arrested for entering the U.S. illegally in 2023 and will be deported. DHS says he's a suspected cartel member with an active arrest warrant in Mexico. America is listening to Fox News.
Do you have 3 ex-wives and your current trophy wife wants a life insurance policy 3 times the size of the policies you had to purchase for your previous mistakes? If so, you need to call Big Lou at Term Provider, 800-777-1225. Big Lou is intimately familiar with your problems, and if you're 50 or 60 years old and in reasonably good health, a $1 million policy should only cost about $100 to $200 per month. Big Lou may have a solution for your previous policies as well. You may even save enough money to lighten the load on your new $1 million policy. Remember, call Big Lou. He's like you, except he's only on number 2. Call Term Provider at 800-777-1225. That's 800-777-1225 for $1 million in term life insurance that you can live with. Call Big Lou at 800-777-1225. 800-777-1225.
Air Comfort Service, heating, cooling, and insulation. Weather.
Chief Meteorologist Dave Murray.
Thursday afternoon, lots of sunshine. Temperatures also up a couple of degrees. 93, certainly nothing extreme. Tonight, clear skies, 74 for the overnight low. Friday, 4th of July, sunny, hot, and humid. Maybe a pop thunderstorm in the afternoon, but tough to find. 95 degrees. Weather looks good. It's warm and humid for all the activities on Friday night. This is 97.1 FM Talk. Chief Meteorologist Dave Murray.
You're listening to the Annie Fry Show live, sponsored by Air Comfort Service Heating, Cooling, and Insulation. Time to schedule your air conditioner service. Get not just your AC, but your entire HVAC system checked for $19 a month with the preferred partner plan, and stay cool this summer. Visit aircomfortservice.com.
That is exactly what I needed to hear.
Thank God someone here knows what they're talking about.
That's us. That's right. Gotta love this American ride.
All right, you need to take the time and get the full picture.
Come on, turn the radio on. It's Saturday and I won't be long.
Don't get me wrong, I love the ladies. I mean, they rev my engine, but they don't belong in the newsroom. It is Anchor Man, not Anchor Lady.
What do you want from me? I'm not America's sweetheart.
Goodness sake, kid. Keep your voice down. Your father's listening to the radio.
I'm not America's sweetheart.
This is the Annie Fry Show.
Let's spend the whole hour talking about the big, beautiful bill.
Let's talk about the specifics of the tax cuts.
Let's talk about the carpet in this room instead. Literally anything. I don't know. Are you tired of it? I'm tired of it. Many of us are headed into a long weekend to celebrate Independence Day. Here's a question for you. How do you feel about people referring to it as the 4th of July versus Independence Day? Thoughts?
Ooh, good question. I just was thinking about this yesterday, and my thoughts are ambiguous at best. I don't take
like
a
it
hard
hurt
stance.
to think that much about it in the first place?
Yeah. Well, I always call it the 4th of July. I never say Independence Day, but I have
Well,
no
we
problem.
all know that you hate America.
No, I have no problem with referring to it as Independence Day, but I never say it.
Brad?
I don't have a hard stance on it, but I prefer to say Independence Day.
It's a lot more to say. 4th
is harder.
of July.
It's harder.
Independence Day. It's a whole syllable more.
Yeah. But it's accurate.
We are about putting in the work.
I'm not.
Do the work.
In fact, when
that tracks.
when Johnson was giving his speech at the end of the big, beautiful bill there, he said something that very much concerned me. He said, these tax cuts will help hardworking Americans.
Oh.
And I was like, uh-oh.
Better go find some. So, Brad, you don't care either way.
Not super passionate, no.
I have gotten messages from people who corrected me for saying 4th of July yesterday.
No kidding?
Mm-hmm. I get it. I was told that everybody has a 4th of July. We have Independence Day.
Well, technically that's true.
And then I saw a news alert this morning that Donald Trump was going to talk to Vladimir Putin this morning, and I thought that maybe tomorrow, if he brings peace to everybody, that we could have a president who goes, today we all celebrate our Independence Day. And then someone in the background goes, I can fly, I'm a pilot.
I'd be okay with seeing Bill Pullman declare that over the world from aliens.
When I illegal aliens.
Bill Pullman took a hard stance here. Didn't even know he was political.
We should get Randy Quaid on the show. I understand the value and difference between saying Independence Day and 4th of July. I also want to live in an America where if you say 4th of July, you don't hate the country.
Mm-hmm.
I've actually been trying to say Independence Day. I was on the phone with Southwest Airlines yesterday. I read that email. This is so stupid. I read that email or that message from very nice listener. I'm not if you've got thoughts, if you want me to stop saying things like the word dramatically, I'm trying so hard.
Those emails are from me.
I know. I usually run that by you. I filter that out of my head. Did Ryan send this? Yes or no? And if it's no, then I take it seriously.
It's not. It's always signed not Ryan.
Uh-huh. That's how I know. I'm on the phone with Southwest Airlines right after I read this nicely worded message to me like, everybody has a 4th of July. We need to say Independence Day. I'm like, okay, I see your point. And the lady, nice, you call a place like Southwest Airlines and you're talking to them like, you think your flights have gone down, you want to get your points back, whatever. Super nice lady. Most of the time when I talk to Southwest, it's a wash to positive experience. Every once in a while, I'm like, this isn't going well. Thank you for your help. And then I hang up and call back and get somebody else.
I hear you.
Yeah.
Once in a while.
I have this nice conversation, got 4,000 points back, Southwest Airlines points back, which is a half a flight in some circumstances. And I'm like, thank you so much for your help. I really appreciate you. And she goes, all right, well, you have a happy 4th of July. And I say to her, I say, Happy Independence Day. Like I emphasized it for myself, not for her. And then I hung up and I'm like, now I'm this person.
Oh, no.
she's talking to her friends on her podcast about, I was talking to this lady, thought everything was going great. I just say happy 4th of July, thought we were having a nice little conversation. She goes, Happy Independence Day. And I emphasize the Pendence Day. I think I messed up.
I was listening to the Southwest Call Center podcast today, and yes, you're right, that came
It's
up.
all about me?
I didn't know until now. I'm connecting the
They
dots.
didn't even promote our show.
They didn't say anything.
Anything?
They didn't say anything.
Happy Independence Day. Oh! And
Now-
immediately I felt regret. And then before I hung up, I almost explained it to her. And then I'm like, that's too much.
Yeah, you're too far.
I'm too
down
far
the
down.
rabbit hole.
I just got to take this punch and go on with my day.
Let me make a point that's going to be very difficult to make. Maybe.
Thanks for the predicate.
The inverse is true, and saying 4th of July is more specific. Because if you're in other parts of the world, which we're not, but let's say you were, saying Independence Day could mean a lot of things. Like if you're in Mexico, Independence Day could be Cinco de Mayo, or it's my birthday, September 16th.
Or it could be the case that, yes, every country has a 4th of July, but in America, every day is Independence Day.
Oh, snap. Just cut your SNAP benefits.
Gosh.
Oh, man. There are 3 people who are offended listening right now.
Hi.
I know their names.
I'm Ryan.
Ryan Wiggins. Ryan Wiggins. It's the same. I talk about this during Memorial Day. People will thank veterans for their service on Memorial Day, and they're like, These are for the people. This day is for the people who have given all. And I think to myself, you know what? That is an important distinction. Not opposed to the distinction. I'm not opposed to highlighting the purpose and difference of Memorial Day and Veterans Day. But I'm also thinking, I don't think we need to waste energy imploring that on other people.
I agree. But now I think about it, every single Memorial Day and Veterans Day.
It's like, how do I make sure I patriot the right way? I'm working really hard on being as America as possible here, and I don't want to screw it up.
It's like
it's important.
It's like the Christmas / Xmas / Happy Holidays version.
Do you know
of
how
Memorial
I write
Day.
Xmas? P-Xmas.
What does that mean?
It's like a Cairo.
Yeah.
The P with the X. Huh?
Like PRX. That's
No.
I always say RX.
It's Greek.
PX.
I know, but it looks like an R because it's at the bottom of the.
No, it doesn't. It's a
no.
P and an X.
The R in Greek looks like a P.
I know. I'm just saying it looks like an R because the X is always down, and the top half of the X goes right to that P spot.
Best radio we've done.
Man.
Thank you. Why don't you take it from here?
No. I need corrected because I've always said RX.
Brad?
It's actually, the X is the CH. The R is the row. So Cairo. It's the CHR for Christ.
Oh, you lost me. So you say
Did we have you?
No.
P
C mus.
So when you write the Cairo, it's the G, like the Christ symbol. Brad, correct me. It's a P with an X over the bottom part of the P.
Yes.
Like
that is the sign. That means Christ.
It doesn't mean prescription.
If you write RX, it would.
It's actually like this one down here on the bottom if you're watching on the
And
screen.
does that not mean Christ?
That's the symbol for Christ.
So I write PX because I've separated that symbol for Christ, and then MAS, and that's Christmas, as opposed to Xmas, which makes people mad because you're Xing out the Christ.
But some people will say Xmas is the cross, so crossmas Christmas.
No,
I don't
Xmas,
do that.
X is an X, not a cross. It
Apparently,
would be a T.
That's where I've heard that came from. The X was supposed to be the cross.
The
and
X
people
is
would
supposed to be
use
the Chi and CH.
Yeah. Now here's the way I shorten it, because Christmas it wastes so much time, and we hate wasting time here on this show. I write Seamus, then everybody gets it. And you don't have to speak Latin.
It's Greek.
Greek. You don't have to speak Greek either. See? You don't have to speak anything.
Gosh.
You do have to speak a little bit of English.
And even you manage.
You know where I took that from? Walgreens. I saw them doing it on one of their signs. I'm like, that's brilliant, Walgreens. Tip of the hat to you, Seamus.
Well, the good news is that this wasn't the big, beautiful bill. At minimum, there you go. We are going to do Annie, Are You Okay? At 2:30. We're going to do local news next with the crew, so stick around for that. Ethan is still out. He is in Seattle or something. So did he bounced?
Yeah, he's in Seattle.
He bounced out of here. He's like, enough of this big, beautiful bill stuff. I'm going to go America hard. Where? Seattle. We'll be right back.
Born down in a dead man's town, the first kicker took us when I hit the ground. End up like a dog that's been
This is the Annie Fry Show. Follow Annie on X at Annie Fry Show.
Ruler Foods, rulerfoods.com. Save on your barbecue weekend at Ruler Foods. Really, anytime you go to shop at Ruler Foods, you're going to be able to buy the name brands you love. So whatever your go-to is and you're going to these other grocery stores, give Ruler Foods a chance to save you some money this holiday weekend. They can help you light up that grill with Kroger 73% lean ground beef, $3.49 a pound. It comes in a 3-pound roll, so you can save well on that. You can also fill up the cooler with ice cold Pepsi, Mountain Dew, A&W, root beer. 4 for $17 when you buy 4. Kroger potato chips, just $1.49 each. And you can save on fresh produce. There is hardly anything more American than a really fresh, juicy, delicious watermelon. Enjoy sweet, juicy, seedless watermelons for only $3.99 each. It's at Ruler Foods, and you can find your Ruler Foods by going to their website, typing in your zip code, and you'll see all the locations in the metro area. rulerfoods.com.
It's Mark Reardon for Underdog Fantasy reminding you that you can still go yard all baseball season long with Underdog's Champions Game. It's so easy. And Underdog is a leading place to make all of your sports selections, and you can play in Missouri. It's one of the fastest growing sports apps. Millions have already won billions making plays on Underdog. And to play, all you have to do is download the app. You choose whether a player will go higher or lower on one of their stats. From baseball, it's home runs, strikeouts, total bases, and so much more. Once you put an entry together, if it feels good, you can play with as little as $1. If you get everything right, you could win up to 1,000 times your money. So download the Underdog app. Sign up with the promo code MARKR. That will unlock a special offer of up to $1,000 in bonus cash when you make your first deposit. Again, the promo code is MARKR. Must be 18 plus and present in Missouri. Terms apply. See underdogfantasy.com/web/deposit-match-terms. Concerned with your play, call 800-GAMBLER or visit ncpgambling.org.
Rhino Shield is far superior to even the best traditional exterior house paint. Rhino Shield is 8 to 10 times thicker than paint and comes with a 25-year transferable warranty. Rhino Shield is the only ceramic coating company that has been chosen by Disney, This Old House, and 3 times on HGTV's Curb Appeal, where every episode is concentrated on unpainted brick, bonds and seals to stucco, wood, hardy, block, color lock, masonite, and more. No better product for those steel aluminum-sided homes that have become, chalky and tired looking. We coat sloped and flat roofs to extend their lives too. After 15 years, we've got a great reputation and a superior product. As long as it's affordable, why wouldn't you do it? Before you make the costly mistake of painting with traditional paint, you'd be best served to call Rhino Shield today. We are the experts and our evaluations are free. 877-25-RHINO or 877-25rhino.com. Tell them, ladies.
Don't paint, don't Rhino, go Rhino Shield. Never paint your house again. Rhino Shield.
Eggland's Best. The only eggs with more fresh and delicious taste, plus superior nutrition. Available in so many delicious varieties. Classic, cage-free, organic, free-range, and pasture-raised. Eggland's Best. Better taste, better nutrition, better eggs.
Oh, see, and you see by the dawn's early light was so proudly we hailed at the twilight's
whose broad strides and bright stars through the perilous fight. Oh, the ramparts we walked were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets regular upon bird singing came through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say, does that star-spangled banner yet wave? Oh, the land of the free and the home of the
Well, we don't normally play the whole song, but it's kind of hard to interrupt that, especially on Independence Day Eve, also known as July 3rd.
I call it Independence Day Eve, though.
Yeah.
I'm a traditionalist.
Get all those syllables in.
You ready for this?
Yeah.
Here we go.
All right.
Hold up. Check it out. Sports and local.
Bringing us the news, sports, and other information that we need in our local area.
Where'd you get that?
That was the listener. It was the same one as yesterday.
Oh, that's a listener?
Yeah,
It
a listener
sounded
did
like
that.
old-timey.
No, that was just him. I don't know if he was in a small room or something. He was recording that on the Odyssey app.
I love it.
And sent that over for an Ethan Open, but I was able to cut Ethan out of it to use when he's not here.
Ethan will be back next week, and we'll pick up where we left off. So if you have suggestions for what to name Ethan's local segment, we will take them. And if you want to record the intro, just like that listener did. Was that Timothy?
Timothy.
Thank you, Timothy, for doing that. Go to the Odyssey app. Make sure you download it. Find 97.1 FM Talk. Hit that little record button next to the play button on the app while you're on the 97.1 page and record an intro. You might use it. You want to go first?
Yeah, I do. Let's talk about a subject you actually had brought up. Didn't know that I would have this, but it's the same subject. Southwest Airlines.
Mm-hmm.
They are making cuts to their Lambert Airport schedule.
Ruh-roh, George.
Southwest is cutting 247 flights over the months of July, August, and September. That's ultimately not a ton, but it does signify that they're starting to slash a bit, and that's not the way we want to go. We always want more flights coming into St. Louis.
Did they say
More
which ones?
Just to Southwest. It didn't say specifically
But not
to
like which routes.
anywhere. No, it just says it's 2% local, which is not huge, but it is still 247 flights. Southwest, man, they are in the news.
They kind of feel like they're trying to break up with you, but they don't want to just say it.
It
That's
really
the way
does.
it feels.
Yeah. My
Don't-
gosh.
Don't be like that. I love you. I'm in this relationship for the long haul.
Well, I was too, but the way they've been acting lately,
Yeah.
coming home late,
Making me ask some questions.
alcohol on their breath.
No, that you had to pay for now.
Yeah, exactly.
Telling you where to sit. Being all bossy and stuff.
I don't like it.
The big, beautiful bill will be signed tomorrow on July 4th, which is also Independence Day. Just as Donald Trump asked, it has passed the Senate, it has passed the House. It will be on his desk to sign on an Independence Day ceremony at 4 o'clock tomorrow. Pretty crazy stuff. Brad, your story?
Yeah, so a judge has ordered the St. Louis public school system to pay out millions to employees that they over the COVID vaccine mandate. So back in 2022, over a dozen teachers sued the St. Louis public schools about after they were suspended or fired for not complying with the vaccine mandate. And so this past Friday, a jury sided with the former employees, ordering the district to pay out $4 million to the 13 who did not settle. And their attorney says they based their case on religious discrimination and First Amendment violations, and he calls it a win for the public. He said whether it's a school district or a city employer or other government entity, if you allow them to whittle away at constitutional rights that people have, eventually you're not going to have any left. So I look at this and I think this is getting to the point where we're starting to right wrongs. I'm super happy to see that, hey, maybe people won't be as eager to like jump on these mandates for things like that. Thinking about it the other day, you know, I don't understand why this was such a serious thing, and it was so ironic the way this played into that, the exact opposite of the argument about my body, my choice. The side that wants to abort innocent babies, to kill innocent babies, doesn't want people to make decisions about their body when it comes to experimental medications, and it seems odd. And so I'm super happy to see that these people were able to win their case.
I got a tale of two cities, maybe a few more of that. But this weekend, this is from fox2now.com. So to our friends over at Fox 2 doing this coverage. The Women's March, a national advocacy group, has planned several Free America protests in the state of Missouri on the 4th of July. This specifically for you, Ryan. I know you're into these things.
I am.
The group has organized more than 100 gatherings across the nation over the 4th of July or the holiday weekend. As of Thursday, at least 8 are planned here in Missouri during the morning hours of July 4th. So everybody get this on your calendar. According to the Women's March, Missouri protests include South St. Louis County, Festus, Cape Girardeau, Jefferson City, Kansas City, Rolla, Springfield, and St. Joseph. Fox 2 reports the planned Free America protests followed nationwide No Kings demonstrations that took place on June 14th, coinciding with President Donald Trump's birthday. It's ironic that they didn't say King Donald Trump's birthday, but anyway. And an army parade in Washington, D.C. The No Kings demonstrations came in response to actions and political stances of Trump, including unrest over federal immigration raids. No real strong policy attached there. They're just opposed to the monarchy.
So these are marches by women, for women, or just against?
I don't know, because I am a woman, and I don't know if this is for me.
Okay, but do you have to be a woman to march in the Women's March, or is it?
You're asking really complicated questions that I don't know that they can answer.
But they're against, ultimately, the presidency, so like they're against democracy.
Organizers describe the protests as a stand against what they consider threats to civil liberties, citing corporate greed, economic inequality, political fear tactics, and attacks on basic freedoms. Still vague.
I think I'm done drilling down on that. I don't think it's going to go deeper.
What do you remember from the No Kings protests?
I remember a couple of very big, wide shots from Idaho where people were like, this is Idaho. Are you kidding me?
I don't know what you're talking about, so I'll just take your word for it.
There were a lot of people that protested in Idaho. Actually, it was a pretty big protest across the country. So I do remember some of those images. I remember afterward people congratulating them that they had achieved their goal, that there are indeed no kings in America.
Huzzah!
So, great job.
Victory.
Another story from Fox 2 Now. As I said, a tale of multiple cities. Wentzville. The city of Wentzville will celebrate Independence Day with a display of more than 50 American flags near the Wentzville Rec Center. City leadership expects the display to become an annual tradition in Wentzville, appearing on and around Memorial Day, Independence Day, Labor Day, and Veterans Day. Dale Shaper, commander of American Legion Post 323. I love the American Legion, by the way. Quote, the Wentzville American Legion is proud to contribute to the city's 4th of July celebration. This flag display is a powerful symbol of our community's patriotism and a reminder of the freedoms we value. Residents and visitors are encouraged to drive along Wentzville Parkway or Great Oaks Boulevard to view the display.
Done.
Wentzville.
Can I share one more local story?
The flag display is part of Wentzville's larger 4th of July celebration, which includes a parade, free swimming at Progress Park Pool, and a fireworks show on July 4th. Fox 2 Now, thanks for the report.
This is also for this weekend. Mermaids will dive into the
I think you
tanks.
say die.
I saw this story.
Mermaids will dive into the tanks at St. Louis Aquarium at Union Station.
So you can go see him?
Through July 6th, mermaids will be in Shark Canyon and hold meet and greet sessions, which will be tough because
Go back. I like it when you said mermaids will be in Shark Canyon and hold meat.
Meet and greets. They're not going to hold any meat.
I think I'm there. I got to see what that's like.
Oh, man. Unless they are tearing into some tuna.
How fast are they?
So if you want to see mermaids, go to the St. Louis Aquarium at Union Station. I still have not been to
Have your kids gone?
I think they have last summer, but I have not been.
Same.
Have you ever seen mermaids in a tank?
No.
You ever seen them in the ocean?
Yes. I had to think about it.
You're on a cruise?
No, I've never been on a cruise. Gosh, that cruise story haunts me.
Mm-hmm.
I told my kids that if they didn't drink before they were 21, I'd take them on a cruise. Take them and some friends on a cruise. And I don't really want to do that, but I do want to entice them with a nice little reward. I thought a cruise would be cheaper than the risk of the other things. And then when we went to Hawaii, they're like, could we do Hawaii instead of a cruise? And I'm like, done and done.
Are you going to drink on the cruise?
When they're 21?
Yeah.
Hope so.
Oh, okay. I just didn't know. I didn't know if it was like, you made it this far, now you can't start now.
Why?
I don't know.
Why would I do that? No.
I don't know.
I have no problem with legal drinking. But I want my kids to make good decisions and have reasons to. Extra reasons to. Other than, like, the law. Which is me. Just kidding. Not really. Let's take a quick break. Annie, are you okay? With Trisha. When we come back, don't go away.
And the rock is regular amongst birds singing out.
Home Shield Foundation Repairs with an S.com. That's the website. Leveling out concrete has never been more sensible or cost effective than with Home Shield Foundation Repair. 314-227-9636. 314-227-9636. Call Matt. He's great. Got to spend some time with him, with his wife, and we have so much in common, and they're such normal people, and they just know how to do this thing really, really well, and they're looking to connect with you, and I'm looking to connect my great listeners with great people who you can trust, who you can rely on to do the job, to treat you respectfully, to do the job right, and to make you the person who says, yeah, you need to go to Home Shield Foundation Repair to get this concrete fixed. We're talking patios and pool decks. You can do driveways, sidewalks, walkways. They even will take care of uneven garage floors that become a hazard in your garage. All of this can be leveled cost effectively with Home Shield Foundation Repair's method. You're 314-227-9636 away from getting your appointment scheduled. They'll come out and check out the situation and let you know what they can do. They're not going to charge you for that. There's no cost for the estimate or anything like that. You can trust these people, I promise. HomeshieldFoundationRepairs.com.
You know how you always want to know about everyone else's money? On the podcast What We Spend, guests will, for 1 week, tell us everything they spend their money on.
My son slammed $6 worth of blueberries in 5 minutes.
And everything that makes them feel.
I want to own a house. I want to have a child. But this morning, I really wanted a coffee.
Because at the end of the day, money is always about more than your balance. Listen to and follow What We Spend, an Odyssey original podcast. Available now wherever you get your podcasts.
The average time a resume spends on an HR manager's desk is 7 seconds. And most of them are tossed aside. Now imagine if one of those resumes belonged to Yasmin, who was
living in a shelter, juggling 3 jobs. I had to be resilient. That's something that you can't teach.
Or if that resume was from someone who
worked 12-hour shifts at the recycling company with my dad, who's 72. That taught me a work ethic that I carry with me every day.
We rely so much on a resume, yet it could never tell the full story of someone.
Growing up where I did, a lot of things could have gotten in the way of my goals. But I learned to push through, and that's what I bring to work every day.
So maybe it's time we look beyond the resume and look to Grads of Life. Discover new ways to develop great talent that are so much more than what's on paper at gradsoflife.org. A public service announcement brought to you by Grads of Life and the Ad Council.
Who wins the 2026 midterms? I like this question because it's written in the present tense. Who wins the 2026 midterms, like they're happening right now? They're a little ways away, but let us know what you think. There are several options there for you to vote on, and it is 2:33. This time check is sponsored by Jerry Kelly Heating and Air Conditioning.
It's time for a $98 AC tune-up.
This is The Annie Fry Show. Find the podcast, on-demand audio, and more at 971talk.com/Annie.
Oh, beautiful for space.
And now it's time to play Is Annie Okay With This?
Happy Independence Day, Trisha.
Ah, thank you, Annie. Happy Independence Day to you.
Did you hear a conversation earlier about the difference between Happy 4th of July and Happy Independence Day?
No.
I got a listener message that said that I should not say 4th of July. It's Independence Day. Everybody has a 4th of July. So now I think about that.
Okay. I think I got that right. So I do our station social, what little bit I can get out. And I did a Happy Independence Day post.
Congratulations.
So I think we're covered this year.
You can check out the Annie Fry Show podcast to hear how this turned into a conversation I almost had with the lady at Southwest Airlines customer service.
I will go back.
But you can go back and
Point
listen.
of contention. Everybody has a 4th of July who uses a Gregorian calendar. Technically. Actually. So
I'm
you
not
could
okay
maybe
with
email that back to that person.
Can I just have that video? I'm going to use that in the future. I'm going to be like, will you pause for a second? Beep, boop. Here you go. Show them the video.
Well, actually.
Go ahead.
All right. Speaking of beep boop.
Yep.
China previews upcoming World Humanoid Robot Games.
Wonderful. This is going to be great.
4 teams of humanoid robots faced off in fully autonomous 3-on-3 soccer matches powered entirely by AI.
Are the robots all from the same maker?
I don't know the answer to that.
Because I would maybe watch Robot Olympics from where robots are from
different companies so you could see how their technology is. So
that's actually probably how we all die, though.
I wouldn't watch that crap. I'm American. I want to watch People Olympics.
Well, these robots,
It's a strong opinion. Anywho,
these guys were advanced with visual sensors, and they were able to identify the ball, navigate the field. They played these games completely on their own. The idea was to not need any human intervention or supervision. That meant if they fell down, they were designed to stand up on their own. However, during the match...
Unlike LeBron James. Go on.
LeBron James.
Hang on.
Wait. Thank you.
Well done. However, during the match, several still needed to be carried off the field on stretchers just to add to the realism of the experience.
What? For show?
There's video of these guys, and they're real slow, and they're
Do they
playing
look like
soccer.
robots? They don't look like people that are robots, do they?
They almost look like if, what's the foosball? It's almost like if those guys came to life. And they're just like, but they've got little feet that move, and they kick the ball
But
back
they're
and forth.
not trying to make them look like humans.
No, I mean, they're
Humanoid.
human shaped-ish, but
Sure.
no, you're not like...
Were they fast?
No.
They were they just basically trying not to
But
fall
then they
down.
like slowly fall over.
Is it robots
And then
that
just,
carry
like-
the other robots off?
No, humans
Oh.
would come out and put the robots on the stretcher. It's pretty funny. Annie, are you okay with robot sports? I know Ryan is not.
I don't like robots at all, but if I were going to watch robots do anything, it would probably be compete against other robots at things where one of them has to fail. But I'm afraid of what happens when they fail. You've seen these stories where AI becomes like sentient in the fact that they're managed by someone else and they don't like it. Like, they don't like it. You mean they like things and don't like things? That's not good. No,
So like us.
I would like to get rid of the robots.
Are robots scarier when they're humanoid or animaloid? Dogoid.
Animaloid?
Yeah.
How about robotoid? Roboid.
What is a robot? Really? What is a woman?
I almost just said. You're going to get me in trouble. I know you're trying to get me fired. I know this is your plan, especially in front of Trisha.
Got you
Then
right-
management knows.
Right to the edge.
Scottish medical clinic pleads for a stop to unsolicited urine samples.
Unsolicited.
A statement on the clinic's Facebook page
Does
reads,
this come from the pub?
Please be advised that we are no longer able to accept urine samples unless they have been specifically requested by the practice. This change is necessary due to the high volume of inappropriate or unsolicited samples being submitted, which affects our ability to provide timely care to all patients. A doctor at the clinic said the culprits are often older patients seeking to be tested for UTIs without first consulting with a medical expert.
Here's my pee. Anything wrong?
And they're dropping it off in like Tupperware. And they're just like, here, test this for me.
Are they putting their name on it? Or?
I would assume so because they want results back.
My mom was a microbiologist, which means she worked in a hospital for decades. And her job, whatever they take out of you, she was the one testing it. Gross. Like if I was ever, I'm sure if I was God ordained to do something, it would have happened. But if there was ever even a spark of interest in science in my life, my mom, like what she had to do, and thank God that we have people who are willing to do that. Because if you have a UTI, she was the one testing the urine or the other things that come out of our body to see what the situation was, looking through microscopes, identifying what's in there. Super gross. She was usually my show and tell at school. She brought tapeworms in once.
Ooh.
Live?
No.
I don't know.
Can you see them moving? I genuinely don't know. Are they big enough?
Ask her when you're hanging out with my parents again.
Yeah, I know what an earthworm is like.
If you start talking tapeworms with my mom, now you're gonna be her favorite too.
That's our podcast. Me and your mom talking tapeworms. Odyssey picked it up. It wasn't hard.
It's available anywhere you get your podcasts.
Yeah.
Anywhere you stream the station.
A couple of apps out there.
Yes.
Anywhere you want. You just type in 97.1, and if we pop up, you listen.
Annie, are you okay with going to the doctor?
Oh, yes and no. Mostly no. I don't know.
Will you do the annual physical thing?
No,
As
that's
an
the
adult?
that's the thing I won't do. But then you get sick, and then what?
What is that?
Explain yourself.
It's people carrying a stretcher.
With a little robot on it.
That's what you have to say when you carry a stretcher. Hup, 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 hup. Not sure why. It's just the rules.
Are they?
I don't make them.
I think you did.
No, sir. Brad new.
I am. If I'm sick, I would go to the doctor. But I think our generation, I don't even know if it starts before millennials, if Gen Xers are like this too, but it's like, okay, I have a sinus infection. I know I have a sinus infection. I'm going to have to get somebody to give me antibiotics to get over this. So you can go to urgent care. You can go to Walgreens and see somebody there and pick up the antibiotics by the time you leave. The idea of like that primary care provider, I'll tell you the doctor I will go see is the lady doctor. But even after having had 4 kids, I don't do that as much as I should.
Yeah, I'm more committed to a specialist doctor, but you have to go through a primary sometime. But there is nobody in the world that I know less than my primary.
40,
I think I've been twice.
Age 40 is when you're supposed to start getting mammograms. I've never done that before. Need to do that. I think colonoscopies are 45. Is that right? Or is it 50?
They're around 40 to 45.
Yeah, I think
it's
they
not
lowered
40.
it.
It's not 40, and it should be.
Yeah.
It should be. You can certainly go get one. If you have an indication that maybe there's something that might be off or wrong, you can tell your doctor, you can get one, it'll be covered. But like the age of recommendation for a colonoscopy is not 40 yet. I am really bothered by the amount of stories that continuously come out of news cycles where it's just like, wow, a lot of younger people are getting cancer a lot, and not really 100% sure why. And then RFK Jr. is like, there are 1,000 chemicals you're eating that are banned in other countries. And I'm like, is that it? I know people who are my age who have passed away from these cancers, and they crept in. They were healthy people. It scares the crap out of me, no pun intended. And I think that...
that was a good pun.
Yeah. I think that, like, do I need to get a mammogram? Yes. Should I have gone and done that already? Yes. I'm not doing it, but it's just not part of the routine. And I don't think people our age are routine doctor seers. You just don't do that.
Just drop your urine off and see what they do.
Not in Scotland. Don't do it there.
I'll take it to your house.
Furry convention is back in Pittsburgh and set to generate millions.
Woo! I've been there.
The annual Anthrocon convention returns for the 19th year, and furries have descended upon downtown Pittsburgh.
Something to see.
Anthrocon is a celebration of the anthropomorphic, or animals with human-like qualities.
My mom just messaged me only talking tapeworms. Hi, Mom.
Can you see them move, the tapeworms?
Don't answer that question.
Ask your mom when we're doing episode 3.
No.
Because we need to schedule that.
No.
We can talk about
episode 3.
Shigella.
Do they move?
I know all these names of these really disgusting things, conditions that people can have. Just
Say
'cause-
one.
Shigella.
Say 2.
I'm trying to think of ones that I know that are specifically disgusting. And I know this because like she like has, I don't know, I can't say too much here, but she uses the names of weird diseases and stuff as like identification markers in certain places. They're like words that she knows.
I have no idea what that means.
I know. I can't.
Identification markers? Like she's putting it on like hole 3 out at Far Oaks?
Yeah. No.
That hole's disgusting. Jagella.
Yeah, I don't know. I can't. I'll tell you off air.
Looking forward to it.
But you should. What you need to do is you need to tune into the Talking Tapeworms podcast, and then you'll know.
Anywhere you get your podcasts.
Anyway,
the furries are in Pittsburgh. People in attendance have costumes they wear of their own characters, but event organizers point out that only 25 to 30% of attendees will dress up. The convention brings in north of $21.7 million per year. Annie, are you okay with Pittsburgh?
Yeah, I am. There is I need to find it. I've done this before, but there is a tweet on X, which is actually a post now. And it says Pittsburgh is the all-time greatest city reveal that exists in our country. Because when you're coming in, we were coming in from the airport. You're coming in through a tunnel, and you're going through the mountains. And we were doing this at night. It's probably like midnight, because we landed super late and drove into Pittsburgh. And you come out of the tunnel, and all of a sudden, you enter the tunnel just driving through the mountains. You know, you're hugged on both sides by trees and hills and all that stuff. At the other end of the tunnel, it's just like, boom, Pittsburgh. But it's like the panoramic view of lit up Pittsburgh with all their beautiful yellow bridges. Why don't we paint our bridges red or something? We should paint our bridges red or a cooler color of yellow.
They probably just need some sort of identification like your mom does.
What? Is that a your mom joke? People are just tuning in like, well, that's pretty harsh, Ryan. Pittsburgh's great. You should go visit.
Okay with that.
Especially PNC. JB said, is Ryan a DEI hire? Yes. Thank you for bringing that to our attention. Go on.
New studies suggest dairy and sweets before bed could be causing nightmares. The study published in the journal Frontiers in Psychology surveyed 1,082 college-age participants over a 4-month period. Of the participants who reported food affecting their dreams, 31% attributed sweets and 22% attributed dairy to their nightmares. The authors concluded the results suggest dairy leading to bad dreams may be due to GI distress. Annie, are you okay with snacking before bed?
No. I'm working on intermittent fasting, so I think I stop eating at 7. And I usually go to sleep definitely after 9. But
what time do you start eating in the day? Like noon?
11. Yeah, between 11 and noon. Yeah. I'm not 100% good at it, but I've been doing it for a week. But that's a bad idea. Although it does remind me, I wonder if that has anything to do. I don't know. Molly's 4. She's got kid dreams. She'll lay in bed with us. Or a lot of times I'll go to bed first, and then kids just start piling in because they want to lay with mom. And Molly will snuggle up to me and she'll say, Mommy, will you protect me from my bad dreams? And it's like the sweetest thing ever. And you're like, yes, I will.
Bernie's had a few nightmares lately, and then this dairy thing popped up, and I'm like,
Yeah, you kind of have to ask yourself. But no late night snacking. You are.
Well, no, I've cut sugar out of my diet for 7 days now. Added sugar.
Changed man.
Super grumpy.
I'll still eat a little honey here and there because that's not added sugar. It's just honey sugar. It's totally natural. But I have noticed in the last 7 days that my dreams seem a lot less like the Yellow Submarine video.
Oh, you also quit LSD.
Unrelated.
Both good choices, though. I commend you for that.
Not related, though.
All right. Well, thank you, Trisha. We appreciate you. I hope you have a wonderful Independence Day.
You too. Thanks.
Of course. Let's take a quick break. The YouTube live chat poll will answer this along with you when we come back. Who wins the 2026 midterms? How are Republicans going to fare? Yes, the big, beautiful bill passed in the House. It's passed in the Senate, and it will be signed by President Trump tomorrow at 4 p.m. on Independence Day. We'll be right back.
And crown that good with brotherhood from sea to shining sea.
This is the Annie Fry Show. Interact with Annie on Facebook. The Annie Fry Show.
For heroes
and live on ratings to ride.
The Retirement Advisory Group is available for a phone call. You can set up a free sit-down conversation with them. Doesn't have any obligation after the fact. Doesn't cost you anything to sit down and talk to them. And why should it? You want to learn what the Retirement Advisory Group is about, and you shouldn't have to pay to do that, and they know that. They want to earn your business, and they're offering you this free opportunity to sit down and discuss with them. How do you make sure that you're going to have a worry-free retirement? You've saved for decades, you've worked really hard, and you're ready to start thinking about how that's going to materialize. A lot of you are thinking, you know what, I'm not ready to retire yet. I like what I'm doing, making good money, probably the most money you've ever made before. And you know that it's not time to hang it up yet, but you do want to have a plan. And there's a lot of power in being able to say, I'm going to work until one day I go, no, I'm done. I don't want to work anymore. You call them at 314-993-9494. That's 314-993-9494. And you tell them you want to set up an appointment. Tell them Annie sent you as well, and you'll be well on your way to that worry-free retirement you've worked so very hard for. RetirementKey.com.
If it's time for new windows, there's only one place to call. That is Window World. Mark Cox here. Call my friends at Window World at 314-993-1800 for your free estimate today. If you have any questions, they'll be glad to send someone out to explain all of it to you. You can even schedule right online at windowworldstl.com. You know, there's a lot of high-interest financing out there, but here's what Window World's doing. Right now, they're offering 18 up to 36 months, same as cash financing with approved credit. You can't beat that. You also get a lifetime warranty that covers all of the parts, the glass breakage, and labor. Who else stands behind their product like that? Over half the appointments Window World will set this year are from previous customers or referrals from those customers. That is a testimony to their customer service, their quality, and their commitment to creating loyal customers. That's what you get with Window World. Call them at 314-993-1800, windowworldstl.com.
You're listening to The Annie Fry Show. Follow Annie on X at Annie Fry Show.
Big plans for the weekend, Ryan? 4th of July,
Yeah.
what do you do?
Well, tomorrow night's music for fireworks, so that's kind of a big deal. 3
You're
hours.
still using
commercial.
the voice that you were talking about in the break regarding the furry convention.
It's fun.
That's
though.
the same voice he was using, guys.
Hey, I'm a moose, everybody. Check me out. Who wants to go get some drinks?
You're going to get arrested.
I will not use that voice tomorrow night hosting music for fireworks. We are going to actually we did fireworks celebration.
Can you tell us
display
maybe
already.
when the fireworks stuff airs?
I could. but
Never
why?
mind. Just forget about it. Just tell us about what you'll be
It starts
personally
at
doing.
8
PM.
through 11 o'clock, and it's all patriotic songs, patriotic speeches from American history, some just pop culture stuff.
Are there commercials?
Zero commercials.
So it's just music.
It's all entertainment.
It's kind of like what we do for Christmas.
Yes.
But in July.
Although there are a lot less good patriotic songs than there are Christmas songs. I can tell you that. So
well,
every
Christmas
year,
has been around longer than
it has.
Independence Day. Not the 4th of July, because that's every year no matter what.
Right, well, according to the Gregorian calendar.
Yeah, if you follow that.
But we watched a display last night set off at our church, and it was a lot of fun because they were really good fireworks, and you're right next to everything because it's just your church and your friends. It was great.
Fireworks scare the crap out of me when they're being set off by
People you know.
Yeah. Just bad stuff can happen.
It definitely puts you on edge.
Yeah.
There's a different edge to it.
If I didn't have little kids around, I would feel differently. But I don't like my little kids to have to deal with that.
We had at that church last night probably 50 to 60 kids under the age of 13, and all of them doing sparklers.
Sparklers is different.
Yeah, but that many of them, and they were the big ones, not the little sparklers. They were like really setting off some fire.
Brad, what are you doing?
Tonight we are having the youth group over, and we're going to watch fireworks at the park across the way from my house. And then tomorrow I'm going to hang out with my brother and his step-nephew, step-cousin. I'm not exactly sure what the relationship is yet because the marriage is still kind of new. And we're going to work on vehicles most of the day, but it's going to be a lot of good fun.
We're doing pool, barbecue, chill. And then there are several fireworks things that we might go do, but my favorite thing about Independence Day is that we just make our choices as we go.
Me too.
I love the non-committed holidays.
Me too.
Ugh.
And this is the best one.
It might be.
Because there's lots to do, but you don't have to decide until 7.
It's like long days, sun-kissed skin, no makeup, pool if you want, lay in the sun if you want, lay in the shade if you want, have a drink if you want, all day, all weekend. And the best thing is that you don't have to do something the next day.
Also true.
I'm looking forward to it. The YouTube live chat poll for today: who wins the 2026 midterms? We didn't really say these options on the air because it's confusing to list this out. But basically, do you think the Republicans are going to win the House and the Senate? Do you think the Democrats are going to win the House and or the Senate? How do you feel about this? What are your thoughts right now? If it were today?
If it were today, I'd actually say GOP House, GOP Senate.
Gains?
Not much. No, I think it'd be about the same. But going into next November, I just historically, there's a lot to happen between now and then, but historically, Dems should take the House back. They're going to have another tough map with the Senate, though. So I'm going to say, if we were talking about November 2026, my vote would be Dem House, GOP Senate.
You're saying you think the Democrats take the House?
Just based on history.
What about you, Brad?
I think the economy is going to take off, and the Democrats have raised such a stink about everything that Trump is doing. The American people are going to look at it and say everything's good, and they were opposed to everything that made everything good. So I think the Republicans are going to win the House and the Senate, and they're going to make gains.
Yeah, I'm gains in both. I think I feel very good about that. I'm right now, as we are talking here, I'm looking at. It was one thing that when President Trump put the tariffs in place, said the left and the Trump haters were like, "Look at your 401k. How do you feel about this? You voted for this, and now check your 401k." Like, have you checked your 401k lately? And I made myself. I don't know if I talked about this on the air, but I told you guys, I'm trying to check my 401k a lot because I don't know enough about being this invested. I've invested in it for quite some time, but it's not a huge amount of money to start with, and then it grows and it grows. And you have these big ups and these big downs. I don't want to listen to people, which we now call the panicans, freaking out about things to find out that when I look at my 401k right now, boy, it's never been better. And I feel like the big reveals of what President Trump is trying to do with the economy, he's got it all in motion, but we haven't met the conclusion of a lot of these things yet.
No. In fact, one of the underreported things about this bill is the business tax cuts and the business credits for moving things here from abroad or just building anything really or buying anything. It's a big deal, and it's a high dollar amount too. So it's not just small businesses. It's like business could be moving here.
If you didn't pay attention or if you don't know what you're doing, which is easy to do, when everybody was talking about how bad, like when the stock market dipped after the tariffs were put in place. I mean, did it snap back in like 24 hours? It seemed like it went way down and then it was coming way back up really quickly.
Fluctuating.
Mm-hmm.
But if you sold a bunch of your stock at that point in time because everybody was panicking, you ain't feeling too good about that right now. I don't know. Trust the process, maybe. Let's get to the YouTube live chat poll results before we wrap up today and go into our Independence Day weekend. Who wins the 2026 midterms? Nobody thinks that the Democrats are going to take the Senate. GOP, House, Democrat, Senate, so split, but with the Democrats of the Senate, that's 3%. Democrats taking everything, 8%. 12% of over 200 votes say the Democrats take the House and the GOP keeps the Senate. So 12% are with you. 77% think that the 2026 midterms are going to result in Republican majorities in both. And folks, we haven't even talked about this yet, but if Donald Trump has Republican majorities in the second half of his second term in both chambers, it's going to be hot. Mark Reardon Show coming up next.
When it comes to replacing your windows and doors, don't settle for ordinary. Choose extraordinary with Renewal by Andersen, the full-service window and door replacement division of Andersen, a name trusted for over 120 years. Our exclusive Fibrex material combines the strength and durability of wood with the low-maintenance features of vinyl, giving you windows and doors that are twice as strong as vinyl, energy efficient, and built to last. For a limited time, get 25% off every window, patio door, or entry door with no payments for 18 months and 0 interest. It's our best new client discount. Ready to transform your home? Dial pound 250 and say the keyword windows to schedule your no-cost design consultation or visit rbastl.com. That's pound 250, keyword windows, or go to rbastl.com. Renewal by Andersen. Superior products, exceptional service.
Are you nearing retirement and don't know if you have enough money saved to retire? That is scary. Do you have a written retirement financial plan in place? Well, when it comes to retirement planning, the trusted team at Financial and Tax Architects are the best. They've helped people all over St. Louis retire with confidence. And that's what you want. You want to retire with confidence. Now, they offer a one-night, 2.5-hour adult education class called Retirement Planning 101. They hold these at colleges over the St. Louis area and in Illinois. No cost, no obligation, just learning. And at this class, you learn how to avoid costly mistakes, how to maximize your income, how to reduce taxes in retirement. So call them today, 314-888-5101, or visit fta-ria.com and take the first step toward a smarter retirement. 314-888-5101.
KFTK FM Florissant from the Kaufman Townsley St. Louis's Injury Lawyers Studio.